Good evening, everyone. This is Robert. Our JL Network presents another exciting edition of Inside Pitch. Wait a minute. It's not an exciting edition of Inside Pitch. It's an exciting edition of Inside Pitch Advanced. Hello, everybody out there. Welcome to demo game number 1 of Inside Pitch Advanced. I am so honored by Chris Davis, who created Inside Pitch, to be the launching point of his new version of Inside Pitch, which is called Inside Pitch Advanced. I'm going to do 3 demo games. The first one is tonight, demo game number 1. We're going to be at Yankee Stadium for a match between the Kansas City Royals and the New York Yankees of 1978. So we're going to play a demo game tonight, and I'm glad everyone here will be here to see this game in action. This could be a bit of a long stream, so if you don't have the time to watch the whole thing, I will totally understand. Okay, but please absolutely check check the replay, and you'll find out here. This is going to be a learning demo game. What I mean by a learning demo game is, well, I'm learning it too. I played a few games offline and have come to a few conclusions on how this game could be. And I really think you guys need to see the game in action. And and that was the reason why to play this game. Now, I guess the first thing to do is to introduce this game. Before we even get to playing, I figure we need to introduce the game itself. Inside Pitch Advanced. This is Chris Davis's magnum opus. This is what he really wanted the original Inside Pitch to be. But due to software back in the day, he was only able to create a certain game in a certain way. So now, with the invention of new software created by Craig Scarborough, who was one of the main reasons that encouraged him to create this game. All right, and it's been a year in the making, actually, guys. He's been working on this for about a year, and he went ahead and utilized the new software rater, and now he realized he can now create the game he truly wants. So tonight, this game is still in beta. It is not available yet, but after tonight, actually, he is going to release the beta card, a download of beta cards that you'll be able to download and play the game yourself. He is asking for suggestions and, of course, any corrections you might come across. So this game is not available yet. All right. So anybody wanting to go to Inside Pitch, the website, it does not exist yet. But he sent me to proofread some of the teams, all right, that he wanted me to play through and see what we could find. He sent me the final 4 of 3 seasons: 1978, which was the Kansas City Royals, the New York Yankees, the Philadelphia Phillies, and the Los Angeles Dodgers. 1984, the 4 teams there: the California Angels, Detroit Tigers, San Diego Padres, Chicago Cubs. And 2024, the New York Yankees, the Cleveland Guardians, the New York Mets, and the Los Angeles Dodgers. I decided game number 1 is going to be the Kansas City Royals versus the New York Yankees. I don't want to worry about pitchers batting in the first game. The second game will be the San Diego Padres taking on the Chicago Cubs at Wrigley Field, where we will see the pitchers batting. And the third one will be 2024, the New York Mets at the Los Angeles Dodgers, so we can see how the game works during a modern season. So there is a long wait. We are not ready yet to release, but he is going to send these cards, not send them, but he's going to make them a download in the replay, and you'll be able to go ahead and see how the game plays. Now, the first thing to do is to tell you what Inside Pitch Advanced is and what it isn't. Now, first of all, you can take a look at the cards. This is a pitcher card. These are the pitcher cards right here. And this, of course, is the Inside Pitch regular card. So now you can take a look at a close difference of how the cards are going to look. All right. Ron Guidry, 78 Yankees, and Roger Clemens, 99 New York Yankees. I decided to use the 99 seasons. I have it. I don't have my 78 season right now. It's in storage. So I decided. So here you can see the difference. There is a difference. I would like to tell you guys, do not get scared. All right. It looks like it's busy. It really is very intuitive how he did this. There are some nuances to the new game, okay, compared to the old game. Now I'll give you, here is a batter card, Mickey Rivers, and here's Chuck Knobloch from the 99 Yankees. You can see the difference between the two. So there is, do not get scared. Don't be a little bit, worried that you might not be able to learn this game. Trust me, it is inside pitch to the nth degree, okay? It is what he wanted inside pitch to truly be. And I guess I got to give a caveat. I got to give a caveat to him that when he was telling me he was going to go ahead and create this game, even I told him don't do it. All right. I really did. Even I told him not to do it because I really wanted him to concentrate on the main game and move forward with new seasons and such. But Chris Davis, he is a perfectionist, and he really wanted this game to be perfect. Now that I have played a couple of games of this offline, I am so happy he did. This game is actually even more fun. There is a learning curve. So for those of you that do play inside pitch regular now, there is a learning curve. I don't think it'll be as hard as it will as it was the other one, because you had to make a lot of calculations. For instance, like base running and all that stuff. His charts are very intuitive. Now, what is inside pitch? Well, first of all, inside pitch advanced. What is it not? It is definitely not for everyone. Not everyone will probably want to play this game. Some are going to still stay with regular inside pitch, and that's fine. Inside pitch is not going away. We're going to see more seasons for that in the future. Okay? It is not going away. It is not a one-and-done roll result, although it can be. So I can roll a die, and that selection right there could just go ahead and be the at-bat right there. It is not always a one-and-done roll, all right? But it can be depending on how it is, okay? Now, for those of you that were wondering about cookie cutters and things like that, what it is not generic splits for all or generic outs for all. So, for those of you who are worrying about cookie cutters, they are going away. There will not be any cookie cutter cards. Because Chris is able to go ahead and he has an 8x8 matrix, which is now 64 results instead of 36. He can now go ahead and make it, okay, a lot. He can put a lot more results in each batter card. Same thing with the pitcher cards as well. There are no cookie cutters. So if the guy didn't hit a home run against the lefty, it's not going to happen. All right. Unless, of course, the ballpark gives him a hand. All right. So there are no cookie cutters on the card. There are no cookie cutters. That's the one thing I know a lot of people wondering, that a lot of people had issues with cookie cutter cards. Oh my Lord, he never hit a ball against a home run against a lefty. Okay. Inside pitch advanced, you don't have to worry about that. The cards will be correct with utilizing his system, okay, to make sure that no home runs are hit against a righty or a lefty or something like that. Or not just that, but base hits. If a guy had a higher average against righties and a lower and such, you're gonna have that. It is not something you will master in one game. It will take you a while to get the feel of it. Once you do, and I'm going to be honest, once you do, you're going to find it very hard to go back to regular inside pitch. You're going to find it very difficult to do so. Once you get the flow of the game, you're going to find it difficult to do so. All right? So, and it is not an easy game. This is not easy. This is not other games where it's just one roll and done. And tonight, I'm not going to compare this game to any other games tonight. Everyone here has a favorite game they like to play, and that's awesome. All this demo is about is Inside Pitch Advanced. If you guys want to head and find a comparison, you can mention it in the chat. I would like everyone to hold their questions, all right? Because I want to play through a game and show you everything on some of the things that the game has. I want you to hold your questions. Chris Davis, hopefully he makes the chat tonight. He says he may be able to make it. If he does, you are more than happy to ask him questions, and he'll be more than happy to answer them, and I will just let the creator of this game do so. Craig Scarborough is in the chat as well, and he can also go ahead and maybe answer a few questions concerning maybe the software or the system that was used to make Inside Pitch Advanced truly, possibly, really the most fun tabletop game there is. And so you're going to see a lot of things, okay? Some of the features this game has, it's not, as I said, it's not a 50-50 game. We all know it never was a 50-50 game. That's fine. The game can handle a lot of extreme outliers. So every game has an outlier. There's always that one part of the game that just doesn't seem to make sense. We call it an outlier. Okay, fine. This game is supposed to be able to handle the more extreme ones. That remains to be seen for people that maybe want to play a full season, okay, of your favorite team in your favorite season. Range plays, of course, can turn hits into outs and outs into hits. We already know that. Base running speed still matters. It's very solitaire friendly. But now everything is pretty much chart driven for the final roll. And you're gonna have to, and you will see it, okay, as we move forward. As of course you know, there are some nuances that the game will have. And I'll bring up the Ron Guidry card here to help you out. Now, on the Ron Guidry card, of course, you see his name and the team he played for, and up here is his throwing, the way he throws, and this right now is the base running rating. The base running ratings are now in the center of the card. So now this is where you find the base running rating. The Ron Guidry, of course, will be a 1. Let's choose Mickey Rivers from the Yankees, and he has a base running rating of 5. Now, remember now, everything is a 1D8, not a D6. It's no longer a D6 run. It is now a D8, which, trust me, I got plenty of them. I'm going to use blue, white, and blue dice tonight for the D8s. If you don't have any D8s, don't worry about it. If you order a copy of Inside Pitch Advanced, he's going to send you D8s. All right? So everyone here, so if you look here at the pitcher card, and you're going to see a whole bunch of other things here too. All right? Automatic outs. You're also going to see some of these numbers now too. Okay, rank where an automatic star line comes up. You're going to be using a D20 now to decide, or if you still can use a D8 if you want to re-roll it, but that's okay. Everything can now pretty much happen on one roll of the dice if it's off the pitcher's card only. Here you got his bats left. What batting card he would use if he was hitting. His strike, okay, where he would strike out, and of course if he would walk, and some other features here, which I'll get to which we'll get to, because I'm still trying to learn a few things here. Now, one of the more special features of Inside Pitch Advanced is now the ability to make, is what it called a special ability called runners in scoring position. It is now possible, if you have a batter that did not do well again with runners in scoring position, he may not get a hit, and the pitcher can make a modification on that. Also, if you have a batter that hits home runs, you may be going up against a pitcher that does very well against batters that hit home runs, and he is there. Chris Davis, the creator of Inside Pitch, has made it. So if you have a batter that hits home runs pretty well, but the pitcher doesn't give up a many with bases empty, he may modify it. And of course, if he does with bases on, he may modify it. There is so much more on these cards, but they are really in depth. You're going to see so much more that the game can offer. Let's take a look at the ballpark card. Here's Yankee Stadium. Yankee Stadium is now rated for lefties and righties. So 1978 Yankee Stadium. Okay, you can see here like a split chance. Against the lefty, a possible home run. Against the righty, it's a flyout. The ballparks now have lefties and righty splits. Even here for home runs. Against the lefty, there would be no modification, but against the righty, there would be a -1. So that is one thing the ballpark does, the new ballpark cards will do. And you also have a chance now to rob a home run. So now if you hit a ball and you roll a 1 on a possible home run, it's a possible the play could be robbed. Split by batter, not hitter. So as you can see that, so everyone here as a possible, you could have a home run robbed. So here in Yankee Stadium, in left field, all right, and in right field, there's a possible chance of a home run. But of course, center field, the wall is very high, so you're not going to get a home run there. So no, nobody in Fenway Park is jumping 20 feet in the air over the green monster, okay, to rob a home run. Each ballpark is going to be going ahead. Each ballpark is going to go ahead and get that set and get that, is going to have its own nuances. There's so much to learn here in the game, but it is very intuitive. And I played a couple of games offline. So here, all right, as I said, you have your pitchers, and you have your pitchers right here, and you have your batters. I guess really the best way to, now let me show a couple of things that before we actually get to the game. First of all, when you purchase a game, you're going to get some special cards here to help you out, like ground outs, some error cards, infield in chart, bunting charts, that kind of thing if you want it. But of course, they're on the main charts. A lot of people liked that the charts, okay, he only had one chart, one side and one back. He is now doing the charts in twice. So now you're actually going to have 4 pages of charts. But the reason why he did this, to make it easier to read, all right? He could have thrown all of this on one chart easily and then all of that on another side. But he decided to make it easy so people could read because, us old folks, we can't see very well. So he did it this way to make it easy to read. Some other differences, of course, coming up is the pitcher cards. He will no longer be making pitchers hitting cards, all right, for their own pitchers, unless Chris believes that he may need to make one for a certain pitcher. For instance, Shohei Ohtani for 2023 or 2022. Or how about Don Drysdale from the year that he batted over 300? Chris Davis could go ahead and make a pitcher batting card for a specific pitcher because that pitcher was exceptional that year. But now you will be getting pitcher hitting cards. The pitcher hitting cards are specifically designed for pitchers. Mostly we know that's, of course, if you play National League Baseball or older baseball before the DH, which, of course, was 1972 and earlier. So now pitcher hit cards, because, of course, you guys knew I had generic hitting cards that I created for that, for the seasons, for my replays. So now you can see a pitcher's hit card. So like Ron Guidry has a hit card of 5. If you were playing in a National League park, he would use this card. Each pitcher, he's got a total of 9 for each. So it goes up to 9, with, of course, the 9 being the best hitting pitchers there are. Okay. So he's created these, so you don't have to really worry about pitchers hitting, all right, with their own cards anymore. What does that do for him? Well, really, personally, as replayers, we really don't care that much of how well a pitcher hits. Some of us may do, depending on how good that pitcher was. Okay. But now he does not have to create pitcher hitting cards for each pitcher, which means now he can create other cards. All right. Maybe such as fringe players, all right, that didn't get many at bats. Although he does say Chris, I think you said so. So I think maybe Chris, I think you said that you still may want to go ahead and, depending on how many bats, still use maybe fringe players, and have a fringe player down low like you have, and that's fine by me if you're going to use a fringe player down low. Or he may print everything out, okay, and make it easy for everyone. It's up to him to how he wants to do that. And yes, pitchers still have their own. Yep. See, remember, check. Chris Davis is in the chat. You can ask him any questions you like, and he will be more than happy to. He will have to answer them. No, you don't have a 6x6 grid, Scooney. You now have an 8x8 grid, and you will see this on hand as we move forward into the demo game. And what else can we show him? Well, the strategy roles have been modified. Strategy roles are now on the batter card. So now, you know how we used to roll for hit and runs and bunts and all that stuff? Now the strategy rolls are on the batter card instead. So here you can see what the bunt rating would be if you roll a strat, 20 for a chance of a hit and run, sacrifice hit, anything like that. The strategy rolls are now on them, and every pitcher now has his own pickoff rating. So now pitchers will now say when they try for a pickoff and when it goes at the park. There is so much to show, okay? So no more charts for bunt and hitting. Well, for strategy rolls, no. But there's still charts for the bunt. So you still have to go to the bunt charts, okay? You still have to go to the bunt charts here and roll to see how the bunt happens, okay? That strategy roll is just now just is on the card now for each batter, not just for everyone else, as you can see. So you still have your bunt charts. You have your bunt depth, and you have, of course, what will happen here. It's more solo. Yes, Ben, it's more solo friendly. Another thing about the game is now you no longer really have to make any calculations for the base running advancement. Everything is now done here on this chart for base running advancement. Now, how can I say this? You have to see this in action, and I like this, okay? Chris tried to do this for regular inside pitch, but he realized that, and I'm pretty sure he agrees with me, it really didn't fit with what inside pitch could do, and his system was already set that way. And he said, Chris, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Save it for inside pitch advanced. He did. It wouldn't work with 6x6. It works with 8x8. And you will see this, hopefully, all right, in action tonight or any one of the demo games we will do. It also has for a fly-out advance. Advancement past the infielder is still set the way it is. But now remember, your base running ratings go as high as 8, no longer 6. You have a plate chart, which will decide if a runner is safe or out. And he has everything here on the specials. On the other side of the chart, you have your S+ results. Then there is the double plays. Double plays are intuitive. I'm still trying to get used to the double play system for double plays. But you still utilize it. But now there's no longer calling for double play depth. Everything is automatically intuitive for double play depth. And you utilize a double play modification, and you'll see all this in action. And of course, your ground outs. And of course, you have the still regular infield in design, or of course the infield in chart, which is optional. And we're gonna see it, and we're gonna see a lot of that. And of course, you have your bunts and your squeeze bunt. Now, errors. Errors have been also changed. You no longer have error on a throw, error on a grounder, and now error on a foul ball or grounder. Okay, ground ball. Error on a drop ball. So now a ball can be dropped by the player, and error on a booted ball. There is no longer error on a grounder in the outfield. It is now error on a booted ball in the outfield. And we're going to see all this in action possibly as well. Range plays, of course, really haven't changed much. They're still the same range plays, if it makes the play or not. Will there be an option to play classic or advanced rules? This is not a Scooney. This is a totally new game. It is a new inside pitch game. This is not something you combine. This is not something you combine with regular inside pitch. This is a totally new game, Scooney. Totally new. But it's still inside pitch. Just inside pitch raised to level 100. All right. So it's a totally new setup, a totally new type of game. So what you get, of course, is your pitcher cards. And, of course, your batter cards. And I'm glad, actually, Chris is here as well because he can answer questions if anything comes up. And you have your ballpark cards. And now he's putting in a defensive card. I write my defensive numbers. I write my defensive numbers on my score sheet. But for those of you that can't reach, get to your cards fast enough, he now is including a defensive setup for every player, virtually every player that played at that position for a team during that certain year. So you will see that as well. Okay. Another thing also is now Chris has not decided yet what to do with traded players. A lot of people have been concerned about, well, you got a player with one card and it doesn't look so great when you got him on another team with the other team's colors. As you guys know, I have no problem with that. Chris is still deciding whether for certain players, he may create another card just for that player for another team. I don't know, Chris, if you intend to use just that for that player's stats on that other team as well, or just take the same player but just copy it. All right, copy that player with the new colors. That's not a bad. I wouldn't have a problem if you did that. All right, so for instance, Mickey Rivers. Let's say Mickey Rivers was on the New York Yankees. Let's say he got traded to the Kansas City Royals sometime. So here's Mickey Rivers' card. I have no problem, okay? I have no problem. If you take this player, same exact card, just change the colors into Kansas City. Make another card, but just put him with Kansas City colors or something like that. I would have no problem with that. I really don't think it's necessary to create cards, certain stats for other teams. Some games do that, and that's fine. Me personally, I don't think inside pitch has to go that route. And Chris Davis says he worked on a traded player solution, figured a way to do dual team-based cards for certain players based on criteria. You see, and I kind of gave him that suggestion. If you want this game to be as perfect as possible, to be the ultimate baseball game you could play, make it that way. And I think Chris, who's a perfectionist, and you are one, sir, and I'm glad you are, all right, to make a baseball game that everyone here will have a lot of fun to play. As I said, it's not for everyone. It is inside pitch, totally advanced, all right? It's a little bit different, and we're going to see it. So I think the best thing to do is to start playing a little bit. So why not we do that? What else can we also do here? Let me also see here. In the forums, you can download some of these pages and such. All right. Let's see here. Let me just read off some of the extra features that there is. Let's see. Let's see. Chart-based base running based on actual pitch-by-pitch data of where balls hit and when. Okay. Error type and frequency during the flow of the game. Now we got the batter cards. Full lefty and righty splits for strikeouts, walk, home runs, and all hit types. Players, actual ground ball and fly ball and hit direction. Ground ball, double play influence, steal frequency, individual hit and run frequency and execution, individual sack bunting. Infield hits are now on the cards. So now you don't have to say, oh, well, I rolled a possible error, and then it's it's an infield single. It will now state if it's an infield hit on the card. Okay. High hit by pitch guys can have them in their grid. So if you got a player that got hit by a pitch a lot, all right, it'll actually say he got hit by the pitch. All right. Like 2024, like my boy Pete Alonso, he got smacked so much with the Mets last year. Defense ratings are now on the team cards for easier reference, which is right here. Okay. Pitchers cards, you also have lefty and righty splits for strikeout, walks, home runs, and hits. Now the pitcher can allow doubles. Okay, so a pitcher can now allow doubles. So if there's a range play, it's a possibility the pitcher can allow a double. It won't automatically just be. It will not automatically be 66% chance single and 33% double. Now the pitcher has a pitcher now can tell what the chances are would be for a double, and you'll see that in action hopefully tonight too. And remember, I'm doing 3 demo games. Okay, you're also going to have let's see here, doubles, ground ball, fly ball influence, ground ball, double play influence based on balls and play, so strikeouts matter. Range play chances influenced by the pitcher. This is really, really new. This is new. Okay, range play. Remember, of course, when you play regular inside pitch, if you roll an RP or an RP at the park, it's automatically a range play. Not anymore. If I roll on Ron Guidry card you have here, which is RP11, this means range play 11. You would check the D20 that you rolled. Let's say we rolled a 9. If it's a 9, that's a range play, and then we go to the batter card. But let's say it's a 17. If it's a 17, it is not a range play, and we go normally. So so now the defense, okay, will be defense is even more important now for pitchers behind them. Okay. You also have runners in scoring position and non-runners in scoring position. A pitcher can now influence how well a batter hits with a runner in scoring position or not. That is a nuance, which is a new one. So now if you got a batter that gets that usually had a lot of RBIs, he's probably going to do well with runners in scoring position. But you may have a pitcher that does well against runners in scoring position, and the pitcher can influence the hit. So if you have a runner in scoring position and the batter card says it's a base hit, then you roll on the pitcher card, and the pitcher card can turn that hit into an out. Which shows you the integrity of a pitcher to get out of a jam. Pretty much that's what that is, to show how pitchers can get out of a jam. So turn a hit into an out. The pitcher will influence that, not just the batter. You can also, now of course you can have home runs with bases empty, but if a pitcher does well with runners, with bases empty against home runs, he could go ahead and influence the hit. If he doesn't do too well with batters on, and a home run chance comes up, he may allow more home runs in that regard. Okay. And of course the ballpark card. Full grid ballpark cards for all parks. Full splits for lefty and righty batters for all hit types. Not part specific, but the rare plays are built into the card. So rare plays are still going to be as they normally are. And there will not be as many of them now. You're not going to have that many rare plays. Why? Because here's a ballpark card. 1, 2, 3, and that's it. On the regular inside pitch, okay, when you roll off the ballpark card, you had a 3 of 36 chance to get a rare play. In inside pitch advance, it's a 3 out of a 36 chance, 3 out of a 64 chance. You will not see that many more rare plays. Rare plays will actually be, rare plays, okay, as they should be, okay, but they still will occur. All right. You can have hits past the drawn in infielders. You no longer have to worry about, is the infield in? No. On the ballpark card, if an infielder is in, it can be a hit. So here on Yankee Stadium, you have this little triangle here, and then G3. If the infield was in, that G3 becomes a base hit, pass first. If the infield is back, that's just a normal out. So now infield in is built into the cards. And also to the batters as well. Amos Otis, He has an infield in one here, so he could probably go. So if the infield was in, he has a chance to knock it right here. You don't have to worry about rolling to see if it's a base hit. It automatically will state, all right, that this will be an infield in. Then there is hit and runs. If you do a hit and run, okay, if you do a hit and run, it's now the ballpark card, all right, the batter card can decide, or the hitter cards can decide if it's a single or not. So, like for instance, here, let's say we roll a 20 for a hit and run, and Amos Otis is up. If you look at this, all right, it says here G4. All right, here G4. This means if it's a hit and run, that G4 becomes a base hit, but you got to roll over this EXC. If it's a G4 and then you roll higher, equal to, or I think, what is this? Is this higher, or I forget. If it's 1 to 9, it would be a base hit. If it's 9 or higher, that would be an out. I actually haven't done a hit and run yet. Okay. But this would be a base hit automatically for players that actually did hit and runs. This shows you how well the batter can do with hit and runs. Okay. Up to that number, so higher is better. Okay. So higher is better. So it'd be a 1 to 9, and that G4 would become a base hit when we do a hit and run. So now you pretty much have batters that can hit with runners in scoring position. And of course, you may have a batter that doesn't do well with runners in scoring position. And because of that, the pitcher could turn. But if the pitcher doesn't do well with runners in scoring position, the batter may still get a hit. There is so much to see, so much to learn in this game. Now, let me show you a little bit on the rule book. This is not the rule book you guys would get. He sent me kind of like a binder with the rules in here, because we're still trying to work the kinks out of the game. Remember, this is still beta. This is not official. And Chris wants you guys to get the beta. Please download these and play the game. Play the game and let Chris know what you think. He is more than happy. I know it sounds harder than it plays. Thank you there, sir. All right. He is more than happy to listen to you and see if there may be something he may have missed, or something maybe he would like to put in, or then again, something he might like to take out. All right. Your rare play charts are on the back. Rare play charts utilize the D20 and an 8. So an 8-sided die. And it's now grouped by range. All right. And then, of course, on the back, you have all your definitions, your abbreviations to help you play the game. And he has a field a field he'll be sending as well. As everyone knows, I think the field is wonderful, but I don't use it because I have my own. So I think I've touched enough. I think what we need is need to play, don't we? I think we need to play. So why don't we do that? Let's go ahead and play. Give me 1 second here real quick, because I got to put a card right here. Don't want nothing ruined. It is. Here. Okay. So the best thing to do is to play the game. Now I'm going to have the rule book next to me, so I can refer to it if necessary as I'm learning what you guys. So we're going to play 1978 Kansas City Royals and 1978 New York Yankees. All right, we're going to be at Yankee Stadium. The lineups I'm using are my own lineups with a little help of Baseball Reference. Okay, with a little help from Baseball Reference. And this is not game 1 of the ALCS that year. This is just the game I decided to put together. I'll be doing that too for the 84 Padres and Cubs and the 24 Mets and Dodgers. And I do want to get all 3 of these demos in. And I may do another demo on Sunday afternoon, but we'll see how we do. Okay, here. So we're going to use blue, white, and white dice. And as you can tell, these are D8s. D8s actually roll better than D6s because they're actually a little smaller, Okay, and of course they have more sides. So D8s actually roll a little better. You should get more of a randomness from a D8 than you would as a D6. One game I played offline, the Yankees beat the Royals 5-3. And then another game I played offline last night, believe it or not, Bucky Dent hit a game-tying home run in the bottom of the 9th inning. I didn't, okay, and I stopped the game there because I had to go. Someone had to go up and go to work today. All right, so I want everyone here. What does he say? What do you say here? Sounds. Time to roll the bones. We should have had this thing catered. So let's go ahead and start playing a little baseball. Let's see how we do this, okay? And thank you, Chris, again. It is an honor that you chose me to go ahead and introduce and launch the game. And I've always said it's the most exciting baseball game you can play. And we'll see what it is. Remember, anything about seasons or ratings, please ask Chris. He'll be more than happy to get it. He knows he's going to have to create as many seasons as possible soon to really launch the ball game. But he did say that his new software rater, he can get seasons created pretty quick. All right, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens tonight as we play some inside pitch. And speaking of that, I did not. Someone needs to put this out because this is inside pitch baseball. Okay. We are at Yankee Stadium. I'm going to bring the card here, and the scoreboard will still be over here. And let's start it. So starting the pitcher I'm going to use for the New York Yankees is for 1978. Well, there really can only be one choice. Ron Guidry, 25 wins, 3 losses. He had a 1.74 ERA. Now the stats are now on the bottom of these cards here. So this is where the stats are located. So you can still use these stats. So we go to the top of the first, and I'm going to use Amos Otis to lead off for the Royals. He is in center field for this game. Now, outfielders now have 4 ratings. You have the range play, the error rating, the arm, and the assist rating. The assist rating is what's used now to throw runners out. And you'll see that in action as well. So Amos Otis is going to go ahead and lead off against Ron Guidry here to start the top of the first. So good crowd on hand here at Yankee Stadium. Ron Guidry, Amos Otis, Royals, and the Yankees. And let's see how this works. So let's have first pitch. Guidry a 1-4. Now a 1-4 on Guidry's card is down here is a range play at the park. Now that's an automatic range play. So now we have to go to Yankee Stadium to see what the range play will be. So we roll again, and that is a 5-2. A 5-2 says here against a righty, a foul is a FP5/3. This is if I'm correct, this is a foul pop-up. This is a foul pop-up, all right, against the righty. There's a foul pop-up to first base. So the range play goes to first base, and the first base, of course, for the Yankees is Chris Chambliss. And his range is a 6. Now that, if I'm correct, is a foul pop-up off the ballpark card. So that means the ball is in foul territory. And I'll show you right here. So these are foul pop-ups to the catcher, first or third. The F5 is for left-handed batters, while F3 would be for right-handed batters. If a failed range play or an error occurs on these plays, you restart the at-bat from the beginning. So foul pop-up to first base. Okay? So it's a foul pop-up to first. And Chris Chambliss has a range of 6. So a 1-6, he'll make the play in foul territory. It is a 4. He'll make the catch in foul territory, and Amos Otis is out. So that just goes as I'm going to say that's a foul out to first. And that is 1 out. So yes, a better definition, a better definition, okay, of what that is. The next batter for the Royals I'm going to use is their designated hitter, and that's Hal McRae. McRae is going to be the DH for this game for the Royals. So Guidry will go ahead and he will pitch. And Guidry is a 6'8". I'm using the blue, by the way, Chris, I'm using the blue dice for the top and the white dice for the bottom, for the side. Guidry is 6'8", and a 6'8" is an EB, error on a booted ball. So that means there's a possibility there could be an error, okay, on a booted ball. Now we got to see if there is one. So now we go to Hal McRae's card, and that is an 8'7". And an 8'7" on Hal McRae's card is an F8. Well, he's not going to boot the ball. That's going to be a fly ball to center field instead. That's going to be caught by Mickey Rivers, and that is going to be out number 2. So no booted ball. Error on a boot, as Chris Davis says, error on a boots only count on grounders or hits. With 2 outs, I will bring in the third baseman, Mr. George Brett, Hall of Famer, one of the greatest of all time. George Brett is at third base tonight for the Royals. It's just like playing inside pitch. It's just like playing inside pitch. So we'll roll on Guidry's card. Guidry 1-3. Now 1-3 on Guidry's card is a strikeout. It's a strikeout, just like you look here. Now the strikeouts and walks and homers are over here, okay, on the batter card. Remember, they used to be on the bottom. Now they're to the side. This section here is for what I call the power hits, or the ones that are hit to the outfield. So George Brett against the lefty, his strikeout rating is a 4. Now let's take the ballpark card. The ballpark card, we chose Yankee Stadium. Yankee Stadium does not add anything to no subtraction from strikeouts or walks. The only thing it does, it's -1 to righties, okay, for home run chances. Everything else is a 0. So George Brett, okay, so we rolled for a strikeout. So George Brett against the lefty, his strikeout rating is a 4. That is an 18. He does not strike out. So now we go to the batter card, as Chris Davis calls them, splits. Brett, 7'8". A 7'8". Now a 7'8" here. If the infield was in, that's an L3. That would be a base hit past first base. But of course, the infield is back, and that's just an L3. That's a line out to first base, and that is going to end the inning. So 1, 2, 3 go the Royals, and we go to the bottom of the first. Starting pitcher for the Kansas City Royals, I decided for this game, is Dennis Leonard. Dennis Leonard, 21-17. He had a 3.33 ERA. Dennis Leonard was one of the better pitchers that year in 1978. Has to be that position in, so first base would batsman be in. Exactly. Now, Chris, that is individual. So if the whole infield is in, that's a first base. But it's possible you could have third base, shortstop, second base in, but the first baseman could be back. So if that's the case, then that's still an out. Is that right? Has to be that position. It's not the whole infield. It doesn't have to be the old infield, correct? That could be at that position. You can, of course, remember, everyone can move fielders into any position they want, in or not. Corners in a G6, it would be an out. There you go. All right. So that's how we work. So that's how that works. Let's see what happens with the Yankees. And leading off for them is going to be a center fielder, Mick the Quick, Mickey Rivers. He had a 265 batting average. He had 25 steals. So Dennis Leonard will go ahead and he will pitch. And that is an 8-4. An 8-4 on his card is a K. It's a strikeout chance. Against a righty, Rivers is a 7. That's a 2. He got him. Struck him out. So first strikeout for Denny Leonard. Leonard had 183 strikeouts that year. And that is the first out. Now, one thing I was having a little confusion with, though, unfortunately, Chris, I don't have a pitcher with that, what do you call it, the PK/N rating. You may have to tell me a little bit more about the PK/N rating. I've not had a chance to use that. So you're still going to have to let me know if we have one, but none of the pitchers have that in this game today. Willie Randolph is next, and he's at second base tonight. The one thing I do like about his cards, I like the size. I like how the size of the cards are actually not as big as I thought they were, and I like how he made the names bigger. I like how the names are bigger. This looks actually even more professional. I do like that. So Leonard will pitch to Randolph. Let's see what we got here. Leonard is a 7-8. A 7-8 is a K with a parentheses home run. Now, everyone knows that the pitcher was tired, we would roll for a home run check. Leonard is not tired, of course. So that would be a K. That would be a strikeout chance. And against the righty, Willie Randolph is a 6. That's a 19. There's no strikeout. So now we go ahead and we will roll on Randolph's card. 2-1. And Randolph's card, 2-1, is a G6, and that's just a ground out to short. That's out number 2. What I like about the 64 over the 36, Chris now has more room to put what he wants on the card. He no longer has to make really anything special. So gone is the special K, if I'm correct there, right, Chris? Gone is the special K. We will not be seeing special Ks, I'm pretty sure. Next batter will be the catcher, Thurman Munson, who should be in the Hall of Fame, and may he rest in peace, of course. Munson is the catcher for this game. So now 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. Chris Davis says no, special K. Leonard will pitch, and that is a 2-5. Now, here we go. Now, a 2-5 is an S with a number sign. This is a base hit. But now, of course, if you know on the old pitcher cards, it would normally be an S1. Not anymore. Now what you do is you check the D20 to see where this is. The D20 is a 5. So I'll get you real close into here. So here you can see at the top of the card, 1 to 2. On the top here, 2, 4, 6, 8, 11, 14, 17, 20. Since that's a 5, okay, you go to the next range. So here's 2, 4, 5 is going to be here with the 6. So you no longer have to roll another die to find out where, okay, the ball was hit to. This is right off the pitcher card. So that being a 5, and you come here, it is a base hit. It's a single number. So now you just go to here. So it says G3. So that's going to be a single pass first is what that's going to be. The D20 will be used more, as he said, to keep things going. So that's a base hit for Thurman Munson right off of Leonard's card. 1 die roll. Not every at bat will be done with 1 die roll. Okay, but you're going to get some of those now. Okay, so now there's no. Now he was thinking of incorporating this setup on the pitcher cards for the original inside pitch. He could do it, but I personally think, Chris, I would just regularly keep what it is. Just finish off the adjustments you want to make to the original IP and really throw everything you have here into IP Advanced. I have a very funny feeling Inside Pitch Advanced is going to really take off. Now, Munson's on it first. And now, of course, here comes the right fielder, Reggie Jackson. Jackson had 27 home runs in 1978. I am using him as the right fielder. Now, there are 2 outs, but we still roll a strategy. I'll still roll a strategy roll, and that's a 15. The strategy rolls, okay, are right down here. Reggie Jackson didn't do a hit and run, no sacrifice hits, and his bunt rating is a 1. He's not going to go ahead and do a bunt. That's a 15. So now Chris says you can also use the die roll, the original the D20 roll from the previous at bat for that as well. That's completely optional. I have no problem re-rolling the D20 for strategy. I actually think for me it's actually easier because that tells me something to keep a look at. Plus, knowing me, I will probably forget to look at the D20, all right, as fast because you guys know how fast I can play. I'll forget to look at the D20 for the previous roll to see if I need to do anything with the batter. I have no problem re-rolling the D20 for strategy. That's totally optional, but it's built into the game. So you have choices in how you can play this game. So Leonard will pitch, and that is a 3-2. Now, a 3-2 is an error on a fly ball, on a foul or grounder at the park. So now we got to go to the, so now that's a possible error on a foul or a grounder. So let's get that real quick so I can explain that. So this is what I rolled here. A possible error, a grounder or foul pop-up. Roll on the ballpark card to resolve the play. If the result is a grounder or a foul ball pop-up, check for an error with the 1D20 against the fielder's error rating. If neither, disregard. So now it's a possible error on a foul ball, on a grounder or a foul pop-up. But it's at the park. So we now have to roll on Yankee Stadium's card. So it's a possible error. Yankee Stadium is an 8-8. And is an 8-8. And guess what? Well, Yankee Stadium again on an 8-8 against the lefty. This is a home run possibility. All right, against the righty, it's a fly out the left field. Well, Reggie Jackson is a lefty. Now home runs against righties is a 26. There's a 26 against righties. Leonard with runners on base is a -2. So that 26 would become a 24. Okay? Because he has runners on base. Dennis Leonard actually pitched better when he had gave up less home runs with runners on base than he did with runners with the bases empty. So Reggie Jackson would then become a 24. There was no adjustment against lefties on the ballpark card. It's a 0. But now that's a 24. Now, does that mean anything here? No, because the D20 only goes as high, all right, as a 20. So what does that mean? Well, I think you all know what that means. Kaboom! That ball is high, that ball is deep, and that ball is gone. Home run, Reggie Jackson. That's a 2-run bomb by Reggie Jackson. Now, what if Leonard was a lefty? Now, let's just look at let's say he was a lefty. Reggie Jackson, and let's say Leonard was, a lefty, and 18 minus 2, all right, would be a 16. So let's say instead of a 5, let's say that was an 18. That would be an out. That would be an out. Is what it would be. We did roll error on a foul ball or grounder. It's not a foul ball and it's not a grounder. So that would be a fly out. There would not be an error check. Okay. But Reggie Jackson would not get the home run. If Reggie Jackson was a righty, okay, then that wouldn't have been a home run. That would have been a fly out the left field. I think I did that right, Chris. But yep, Reggie Jackson's a lefty, and Dennis Leonard is a righty, and it doesn't matter. And somewhere, okay, a ball that was hit in Yankee Stadium, I think just landed in Shea Stadium, and it's 2-0 Yankees just like that. So now you got to see how the home runs can make the difference here in the ballpark. Because yes, as XSG2 says, that's that short porch in left field. That is correct. I'm looking forward to see how he does cards for Fenway Park and everything like that. Let's go to the next batter, and that, of course, is Chris Chambliss. He's at first base. So Chris Chambliss is at first base, 2 outs, but already 2-0 in favor of the Yankees. Last night, I played the same exact lineups with Dennis Leonard and Ron Guidry as pitcher, and I had a pitcher's duel going into the 8th. Every game will be different. with all the extra results on the cards, every game will be different. Let's see what Leonard has here at Chambliss. That is a 3-5. A 3-5 on Chambliss's card is an error on a booted ball. So again, we got to see if there's going to be a possible error. We go to Chambliss's card. Chambliss is a 4-5. And Chambliss, his card on a 4-5 is an F7. That's not going to be an error on a booted ball. That's going to be a fly out the left. That'll be caught by Clint Hurdle, and that will retire the side. 2 runs, 2 hits, and why not? How could we not have a Yankee game from the 70s without a home run from Reggie? Just wouldn't be the same. So 2-0 Yankees after 1. So we go to the top of the second. Gator is still back on the mound. Leading off for the Royals is going to be Al Cowens. I put him in right field. So let's see what Guidry can do now with a 2-0 lead. Guidry is a 3-6. A 3-6 on Guidry's card is a K, and that's a strikeout. Against the lefty, Cowens has a strikeout rating of 9. That is a 9. To me, that's a called strike 3, and Cowens is out. And that's the first strikeout for Ron Guidry. He had 248 of them. You're going to see these strikeout pitchers, you're going to see them throw a lot more Ks, I think. Because last night, Guidry had 10 of them in my offline play. Next batter for the Royals will be the catcher, Darryl Porter. Darryl Porter is going to catch for the Royals in this game. So 2-0 Yankees already top of the second. So Guidry will roll, and that's a 4-6. 4-6 is at the park, right here at the park. So we go to Yankee Stadium. Yankee Stadium 4-7. Yankee Stadium 4-7. Now here you go, 4-7. Porter is a lefty. He's a lefty, all right, and that is a home run possibility. So now Porter has a chance to hit one out. He had 18 of them. Okay, so that's against the lefty, a 4-7. Now, does he hit the home run? Well, Porter against lefties is a 21. Guidry, okay, with bases empty is a -2. So that now becomes a 19. No adjustment from the home run from the Yankee Stadium, and the D20 is a 16. That's going to be a home run for Darryl Porter, and the Royals now make it 2-1. Kaboom! So Darryl Porter hits a home run, all right, off of Ron Guidry. Guidry a -2, but the 16. Now imagine if this D20 was an 18. Imagine if that was an 18. So Porter against lefties a 21, all right, but Ron Guidry a -2 makes it a. Let's say that's a 20 instead. I'm sorry, make it a 20. So let's say it's a 20, all right, and Guidry with bases empty is a -2. So that would turn that 21 into a 19. Well, that's a 20. Darryl Porter doesn't get the home run because Ron Guidry actually does better doesn't give up that many home runs with the bases empty. If above 20, you can't adjust down, so you can't adjust up either. Right. So, it's above 20, you can't adjust down. So if he's a 21 or anything 21 and higher, there's no adjustment, even if the pitcher brings it down further. So let's say he's a 21. Let's say Guidry brings that down to a 19. That is still a home run no matter what. And I roll a 20. Is how that's supposed to work? So there's no way that could not be. So even if he's a 21, but the pitcher can't bring him down, it's just an automatic bomb no matter what. Is that how you're saying? Not fair to bring it down since he can't go up. Okay. So So it can't go up, which is okay. So all right, so I understand what you're saying. So if it's a 20, it would be a home run no matter what. Okay, so in that case, Chris, I wasn't aware of that. So I thought maybe he could if it was a 21. All right, no, you're not going to need an accountant to play. All right, it'll become second nature. So I guess he's only worked then if the batter is not over a 20. I guess. All right, it's still a home run anyway for Porter. He hit one, so now it's 2-1. Here's Clint Hurdle. I have him playing left field in this game. So let's see how this will work. So Ron Guidry will now pitch to Hurdle, and there is one out, by the way. So Guidry, a 4-1. 4-1 is wild pitch. Well, we already if there's no wild pitch, it's an automatic blank with no runners on base or anything like that, or no pass balls. All right, we go right to the ball. We go right to the batter card. There's nobody on base, so. All right, so it just goes ahead and it's not a wild pitch, it's a blank. So we go to Hurdle's card. Hurdle is an 8-4, and on his card, it is a G4, and that's just going to be a typical ground out to second. And that's out number 2. Next up for the Royals, I'm using Pete Lecoq, and he is at first base. Lecoq was not bad at first base. So Pete Lecoq will bat up against Guidry with 2 outs now here in the top of the second. Guidry is a 7-6. A 7-6 is again a wild pitch, but there's nobody on base, so you ignore it. It's a blank and go to Lecoq's card. And that is a 2-3, and a 2-3 has the split ratings. So against the lefty, that would be a ground out to third. Against the righty, it's a base hit to third. Past third. Guidry is a lefty, so that's going to be a ground out to third, just like it does in regular inside pitch. So that's a ground out to third. That'll be picked up by Nettles. He'll throw it over and retire the side. So 1 run on a hit, a solo bomb by Darryl Porter, and we'll go to the bottom of the second. And of course, you have these defense cards. So these defense cards show you, okay, at a glance, all right, what their ratings are for the outfield, for the shortstop, the catches, and such. And I think that's a good little idea to have next to you. Me personally, I have my ratings all written into my scorecard, so I can just look over and say, okay, it's got a rating of 5 or 10, and that'll work. That's another option that he's offering to have defensive players. Greg Nettles is going to lead off for the Yankees in the bottom of the second. He's at third base, of course. So Leonard will go ahead and he will pitch. Leonard is a 1-6. A 1-6 is a blank. A 1-6 is a blank. We go right to Nettles' card. Nettles is a 1-5, and a 1-5 is a G4, and that's just a ground out to second. Now the next batter is Lou Piniella, and I have him in left field for this game. So Lou Piniella is in left, and we'll see what he does here. Leonard will go ahead and will pitch. Leonard, 1-5. Leonard, strikeout with a possible home run if tired. Leonard, of course, is not tired, so that's a strikeout. Piniella against a righty is a 6, and that's an 11. It will not be a strikeout. He will swing. And of course, no adjustment from the ballpark. 2-3, and a 2-3 on Pinella's card is an F8, and that's just going to be a fly out to center field. It's inside pitch. It's inside pitch. Yes, stamina is the same as right. There is stamina, yes. So Dennis Leonard had 40 starts in 1978. He can pitch to 32 batters before retiring, and 15 is the pull rating. Ron Guidry, 35 starts in 1978, 32 batters before retiring, and 12 for the pull rating. So there are 2 outs, and I'm using Roy White as the designated hitter for the Yankees. He's the DH. So Roy White is designated hitting. So Leonard will go ahead and pitch to White. 3-4. A 3-4 on Dennis Leonard's card is an EG, error on a grounder, just like regular inside pitch. Roy White is a 2-6, and a 2-6 is a G6, so it's a possible error on a grounder. So we go ahead and check it. So we check it. So it's hit to short, and Patek's error rating is a 12. So Patek's error rating here is a 12. That is a 12, and that's going to be an error on Patek. So that's going to be an error on Patek, and White will just get one base. And let's go ahead and show you the error chance. So we'll go to the chart. Error on a grounder, and it was hit to short, number 12, off the chart. So let's go to the chart. And it says, boots ball, 1 or 2, grounder booted, roll 1d8, any base runner, including batter that has base running rating greater or equal to the roll goes 2 bases. Otherwise, only 1 base error. Okay? So actually, if the grounder is booted, 1 or 2. So this is, let me see. So that's not an automatic. He can still get an extra base there, Chris. Error grounder can be 2 bases. So I got to roll Roy White's error. Right. Okay. So now, I didn't know that. So see, that's why Chris is in the chat. Now I know it's not an automatic, just 1 base. So Roy White's base running rating is a 4. So including batter that's base running rating equal to the roll goes 2 bases. So I'll roll a die. So a 1 to 4, Roy White goes to second. He doesn't. He'll hold it first. But that is an error. So that is an E6. White is on first, and that's first error on the Royals. So White holds on it first. So now an error on a grounder, it could be 1 or 2 bases. It's a good thing I checked the chart. And that's what I should be doing. Anytime something like this comes, I have to check the chart so I can show you. So like I said, grounder booted, roll 1d8, any base runner, including batter, that has a base running rating greater or equal to the roll, goes 2 bases. Otherwise, only 1 base. Well, it was a 6, which was higher than his base running rating. So White only goes. EB grounder error is only 1 base. Error grounder is only 1 chance, can be 2 bases based on speed. Okay. So Roy White safe at first to continue the error, to continue the play. And now we have at shortstop, only 1 guy I could think of, Bucky bleeping Dent. This guy hit a home run last night to tie the ball game in the 9th inning in an offline game I was playing. And I can't believe that he actually did it. He rolled underneath it. So now we have a strategy roll. Now there are 2 outs. So hit and run 14 to 17, sacrifice hit 18 to 20. His bunt rating is a 4. Well, I'll roll it anyway, even though that's a 20. So he would normally be, you would already have a sacrifice hit, but there are 2 outs. So he's not gonna do anything. He's gonna swing away with 2 outs. I would, because now also the pickoffs are baked into the pitcher card now. So you're not really rolling a D20 for pickoffs anymore. So in a way, Chris, I don't need to really roll a D20 if there are 2 outs. A strategy roll for if there are 2 outs. If I think I'm right about that, you disregard hit and run and with 2 outs. So in a way, I don't even need to roll the D20 for 2 outs. Let's see what happens here. Dennis Leonard, 8-3. And at 8-3 for Dennis Leonard, you have a walk, you have a split chance. A walk, split, K. Dent is a righty. So against this, it's a strikeout chance. Against a righty, Bucky Dent has a 6. There's no adjustment from the ballpark card. And that is a 10. It's too high. So Bucky Dent, okay, Bucky Dent doesn't go ahead and he doesn't strike out. Yes, you're right. Could have a steal attempt, which is a 3 here, but that didn't show up. But you're right. Could still have a steal. So now Dent will swing, and that is a 4-6. And 4-6 for Dent is a double star 6, which we already know is an automatic out. And we check to the 6 here, and that's just, so we go to Dennis Leonard's number 6, and that's a fly out to center field, and the inning is over. So no runs, no hits. There was an error. And after 2, it is 2-1 Yankees in this demo game. So we go to the third. Guidry back on the mound. Leading off for the Royals with the shortstop, Freddie Patek. Guidry will go ahead and pitch, and that is a 5-4. A 5-4 against the righty would be a strikeout chance. Against the lefty, it's an automatic out. Patek is a righty, so it's a strikeout chance. Patek against left-handed pitchers is a 6. That is a 6, and he struck him out. Guidry strikes him out. And that is the second strikeout. Patek didn't strike out much against left-handed pitching, but he will there. And that is a K on Patek, and that is out number 1. Playing second base for the Royals is Frank White. I put him at second, for obvious reasons, because he was a second baseman. Guidry, he will go ahead. He will pitch. And that is a 7-1. 7-1 on Guidry is a walk chance. Against the righty, Frank White is a 6 against walks. That's a 10. It's too high. White didn't walk that many. I'm sorry, against lefties. My bad. Against the lefty, a 7. That is still a 10. He didn't walk much against left-handed pitching, so White will go ahead and get the swing. And that is a 7-1. And a 7-1 is an S1. That's just a base hit right past the pitcher, and White is on first with a single. Next batter is Otis. Otis fouled out his first time up. You really don't need to speak for double plays. Now, let's see if a double play occurs, because let's see what happens with a double play if a double play occurs here. So White's on at first. We will roll a strategy because he did have steal attempts, and that is a 6, and he is not doing anything. His attempt rating is a 4. Now, Guidry, we check his ability here. Guidry is a -1 in holding runners and -2 against steal attempts. White is a 4, as -1 is a 3. So a 1 to 3, it would have been a possible steal attempt. That's a 6. It's not happening. So let's see what happens here. So Guidry will pitch to Otis. Guidry, a 5-8. And a 5-8 is an error on a grounder. So now we go to Otis's card. Otis's card is a 5-3. And a 5-3 is an F8. It's a fly out to center field, and it's a fly ball to center field, and that's gonna be out number 2. White will stay at first. There are 2 away. And now the batter is McRae. White's still on first. They'll still roll a strat. And that is a 6, and again, White not doing anything. So Guidry will go ahead and he will pitch. Guidry, 4-4. 4-4 is a pickoff at the park. So now Guidry, this is new, as you can see, P-O at the park. You first roll to see if Ron Guidry gets a pickoff. If not, then you go to the ballpark. I believe that's right, Chris? So we have a possible pickoff at the park. And his pickoff ratings is right here. So you can actually utilize the D20 that was rolled. So he has a pickoff at the park. Here's his pickoff ratings. 1 to 3 balk, 4 to 9 picks off at first, a 10 it picks off, a 10 picks off at either second or third, or an 11 it's a pickoff error. Am I doing this right, Chris? So now I'm going to check the D20. That's a 7. And I go right to his, and a 7 is a pickoff at first, and he got Frank White. Right, do a pickoff of the D20 roll, then roll onto the ballpark card. Well, that's a 7, and that D20 says it's a 7, and that's going to be a pickoff. So Ron Guidry picked off Frank White to end the inning. So no runs and a hit for the Royals. So the pickoffs are automatically baked into the pitcher card. As you can see, pickoffs pretty much tells you how well they picked off runners. If this was not a pickoff, we then go to the ballpark card to resolve the play. So Hal McRae will have to wait till the next inning to bat. Bottom of the third, 2-1 Yankees. And leading off for the Yanks is Mick the Quick. And he is 0 for 1. So that's how that works. So if a pickoff rating, if it comes pickoff and at, all right, then you go to the ballpark card. We didn't have to re-roll to see if there was a pickoff. That's the thing. One roll took care of that play, and it was baked right, and it's baked right into the pitcher. Let's see what Leonard does against Mick the Quick. Bottom of the third. 7-3. 7-3 on Dennis Leonard's card is a K. It's a strikeout. Against a righty, Rivers is a 7. That's an 11. It's too high, so no strikeout. We go to Rivers. Rivers, 5-5. And a 5-5 on his card is a double star 3, which we all know is an automatic out. And we go to Leonard's number here, and that's just going to be a grounder to first. And that'll be taken by Pete Lecoq, and he'll take it to the bag himself for the out. Next up is Randolph. Randolph is 0 for 1. Leonard, a 2-7. A 2-7 again. A 2-7. I hope you guys can see this, but let me ask a question. Is everything coming in clear? I just want to make sure you can see this. Bringing the card up to the camera is always a bit of a pain in the butt, but a 2-7 is a strikeout. And against the righty, Randolph is a 6. That's a 17. It is too high. So then we'll roll for Randolph's card. Randolph, a 4-3. And a 4-3 on his card is a G6, and that's a ground out to short. And that is out number 2. And now here's Thurman. Thurman got a single his first time up. Little glare on the pitcher card. Yeah, unfortunately. Not much I can really do on that. I could darken it a little bit. Maybe. Maybe that'll help a little bit. All right. So Dennis Leonard will now pitch to Munson. I'll still bring it up to the thing. Leonard is a 4-1. A 4-1 is a K, strikeout. Munson against righties, struck out at a 10. That's a 9. Remember, no adjustment here at the ballpark. So that's a straight 9, and Munson is out on strikes. And that is the second strikeout for Leonard. And the Yankees go down 1-2-3. They lead 2-1 after 3. Pitchers have 3 at the ballpark chances, of which, depending on their pickoff errors and balks on the year, could turn these into pickoff or low PO guys may have 1 or 2. You see, as I said, this is why this game is actually even more intuitive than inside pitch. Not that inside pitch itself was intuitive. It wasn't intuitive. It is. This is actually the game that Chris Davis really wanted to put together, I'm pretty sure. Right, Chris? This is the game you always wanted to make. You just didn't have the technology available. And thanks to Craig Scarborough, you do have the technology available. And thanks to players like me, okay, and of course, Baseball Demos, who does play inside pitch as well, are the reason why we've been able to expose this game to everyone, so everyone can decide if they think this game is for them. Hal McRae will bat for the Royals. He's 0 for 1. So let's see what happens here. Gator, he's a 7-3. A 7-3 on Gator's card is a K+. That's still a strikeout plus 10. That means that he still has complete control of the at-bat so far. So that's a K+, it's a strikeout plus 10. Against the lefty, McRae is a 5. That becomes a 15. That's a 10. And McRae will go down on strikes. And that is the third K for Guidry. The dice for your rolls. Here's Brett. Brett is 0 for 1. Guidry, let's see what he does. Guidry is an 8-5. An 8-5 is an ET error. That's still a basic error on a throw. So now we got to see if Brett makes a hit here. All right, to see a possible hit, to see if an error on a throw occurs. Brett, a 8-6. And an 8-6 is a D9. That's a double to right field. Now, that's a double to right field, and we'll check the chart to see if there is an error on a throw possibility. On a double to right field, it says D Number 10, throwing. Only applicable runner advancement chart is being used. There is nobody on base. Now, Chris, I remember you saying that in inside pitch, there could still be a throwing error from an outfielder if there's nobody on base. Inside pitch advanced, there will not be a throwing error if there's nobody, if the batter gets it, if the bases were empty. Is that correct? So if I follow this right, that means only applicable if runner advancement chart is being used. It's not. So that would not be an error. There's no error chance on that. Is that correct, Chris? Are you going that there won't be an error on a throw if the bases were empty? I just wanted your clearance on that because I know you were doing that in inside pitch regular. So I don't know if you wanted to do that. If that's the case, then there would not be a throwing error because there was nobody on base. So George Brett just gets a double. You're only going to use the error throw if outfielder chart is used. So bases empty, no. Thank you very much. That's a double for Brett. So Brett gets a double. It's not a dumb question, Phoenix, and an inside pitch was not a miss by any means. Inside pitch was not a miss. That's kind of maybe not exactly the word I would use. Inside pitch was not a miss. Let's say the original inside pitch is a success. There are a lot of players that play it. So it was not a miss at all. All right. I would like to say this is inside pitch the way Chris Davis really intended it to be. Inside pitch is not a miss. I don't think anybody here in the chat will say inside pitch, the original inside pitch was a miss. I don't think it was. So now we'll go to Cowens. Now Brett is on second base, and Cowens is the batter. So let's see what happens here. So I would say, I don't think anybody in the chat would say inside pitch. The original was a miss. If it was a miss, I don't think any of us would be playing it. So there is one out, runner on second. Not a real miss. You know, meanwhile, someone didn't like it initially. You see him changing someone's mind. That's a better question, Phoenix. That's a great question. I think there may be some people that will give this game a second look because it's going to have some things that the original game did not have. Brett on at second. Let's see what happens. We still roll a strategy roll to see what Al Cowens can do. Now, of course, there would not, with a runner on second, there's no hit and run or bunt. Actually, should just run. Okay, so that's a 5, and a 5 is a 5 is a 5 here for Brett. That is under it, but it has to be divided by 4 from to try to steal third. So a 5 divided by 4 is a 1, and that's a 5. So he's not going to steal. Al Cowens has an attempt a bunt rating. Has a bunt rating of 2, so that's still too high. So Cowens is going to go ahead and swing away. So Guidry will pitch. Guidry, 7-1. 7-1 is a W. That's a walk. Against the lefty, Cowens walks as an 8. That's a 12. He doesn't walk. He will swing. So Cowens will swing. And that's a 5-1. And a 5-1 is a question mark 7. This is new. We haven't done this yet. Question mark 7, this is what I call a power hit to that position. This is a power hit to left. We then check the D20. That's a 14. Against the lefty, Cowens, a 1-7 would be a single, an 8-14 would be a double, a 15 and 18 would be a triple. That's a 14. That's going to be a double. Cowens is going to bring in Brett with a double and RBI. It's an RBI double for Cowens. Brett will come in to score. Cowens is safe at first. We're now tied at 2. As Chris Davis says, yes, this is not for everyone. As I said, I'm not here to compare this game to anybody else tonight. I'm not even mentioning any of the other games. This is all about inside pitch advanced. You guys in the chat, or you guys that are watching this program right now on a replay or something, you make up your minds to see if this game is for you. And I got to tell Chris Davis, I'm almost ready to tell Chris, I need you to build the 1999 season and send it to me so I can finish 1999 with these new cards. Because I've already said this to Chris, and some others already said it. Once you play this game and really get down the flow, you're going to find it very difficult to go back to the regular inside pitch. You may find it a bit difficult. May. But that's all for you guys for you to choose. You're the players. You're the players. All right. You decide if you think this game is for you. I know I'm not selling my inside pitch season sets because he doesn't have every season for inside pitch advanced yet. But I'm sure he's going to work on it. Right, Chris? I do expect a new season every few days. Thank you very much. Anyway, we have a runner on second. And now the batter is Porter, and he had a bomb his first time up. Still 1 out, now tied at 2 here at Yankee Stadium between the Royals and the Yanks. Rolling with Strat, that's a 17. And nothing happening on Porter's card here. And Cowens is not going anywhere with a steal rating. So Guidry is going to go ahead, and he will pick. Just a side note, team of 1984 Kansas City with California, since you already had 1978 Kansas City in the demo. I agree. That's fine. That's okay. That's fine. Davo 9, that is a very big possibility. Since Chris says he can create seasons pretty quickly, whatever the selection show is, whoever you guys choose from the selection show, I believe Chris can create that season, and he'll have 2 months to do it. Guidry will pitch 5-4, and a 5-4 again is a split chance. Automatic out against the lefty, strikeout against the righty. Porter is a lefty. That's going to be an automatic out. And now we just have to check the D20, and that is a 20. So we go right to his card, Guidry's card, and that says G5. That's a ground ball to third. So it's going to be a ground out to third. That'll be out number 2. And now let's check the chart. Let's check the chart. So if we do a ground out to third, so with a runner on second, runner advances on balls at the first, second, or catcher. Runner holds on balls to shortstop or pitcher if D8 roll is higher than base runner rating. Otherwise, advance to third. All right. Roll of 8, defense makes play on runners. Runner advances on ball hit to third base on an 8 roll only. So you still have to roll a die to see if Cowens gets to third. So on an 8, he will. And he won't. So Cowens will stay at second base, and that's out number 2. Just like regular inside pitch. Some of it's just been gone. Some of it would go ahead and has just been moved to a D8 roll instead of a D6 roll. That's all it is. So 2 outs, and now the batter is Hurdle. Hurdle is 0 for 1. Strategy roll coming up still, and that is a 4, and that is nothing happening. So Guidry will pitch to Hurdle. Guidry, 7-7. A 7-7 on Guidry's card is a W. It's a walk. Against the lefty, Hurdle walks as a 16. That's a 12. He'll walk, and that'll be ball 4. And now runners at first and second. First walk issued by Guidry. He only had 71 of them in 78. So still 2 outs. And now here's Lecoq. Lecoq is 0 for 1. So we're tied at 2 here in the top of the 4th inning between the Royals and the Yankees. And now we'll do a strategy roll again. That's a 3. And a 3 is nothing happening on Lecoq's card because his attempt rating is a hit and run. And his bunt rating is a 3. Now, his bunt rating is a 3. That is a 3, but with 2 outs, you're not going to bunt. So like I said, with 2 outs, you really don't even have to roll a strategy roll except for all you're doing is checking for a steal. These are all perforated. This was a perforated set that he sent me. It's a perforated set that he sent me. So I can go ahead and use actual cards. And I'll tell you the truth. I don't know, Chris. Did you change your paper? Because these cards actually feel smoother than the original inside pitch cards. These actually feel smoother. I don't know what it is, but these feel smoother for some reason. I don't know. They feel smoother than the regular inside pitch cards. I don't know if you changed your paper type for these. Guidry will pitch. It's an 8-2. An 8-2 is a K strikeout chance. Against the lefty, Lecoq struck out at a 14. That's a 7. That's going to be a swing and a miss. Struck them out. and the inning is over. Fourth strikeout for Guidry. So 1 run, 2 hits, and a walk. And we're tied at 2 here going to the bottom of the 4th inning. You had to get 2x4 cards per for it's a 3x3. You think it's the same paper. I don't know. These feel smoother. I don't know what it is, but these feel smoother. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's because I like how they look. Maybe the print is different. I don't know. We go to the bottom of the 4th. And here, of course, is Reggie Jackson. And he hit a 2-run bomb his first time up. So now there are 8 by page. There are now 8 per page now, which means more paper. But remember, which means more paper, okay? Because now you're doing 8 per page, okay? Only 8 players, so it means more paper now. But I think it's okay. Leonard. So Leonard will pitch, and that's a 6-2, and a 6-2 on his card is a strikeout. Jackson against the righty strikes out at a 14. That's a 5. He's gone. And that's 1 out. This time Reggie Jackson strikes out. And that's the 3rd K for Leonard. Next batter is Chambliss. Chambliss is 0 for 1. Leonard will go ahead and pitch. 8-2. And that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to speed up a little bit. I'm gonna speed up a little bit on plays that are normally inside pitch. Anything that is new, all right, I'll slow down. I'm gonna speed up a little bit. Like, for instance, Dennis Leonard is an 8-2, and that's a strikeout. We already know how that works. Against a righty, it's a 7. That is a 7 and struck him out. So that's going to be another strikeout for Leonard. I'm going to speed up a little bit against with results that we've already dealt with. Here's Nettles. Nettles is 0 for 1. So Leonard, a 4-2. 4-2. Now, this is new. So a 4-2 is an HP plus 2. This is a hit by pitch. So now hit by pitches are now put into the pitcher grid. You're no longer rolling the C, okay, on a hit bat, put in the hit grid. But now the plus or minus is in the grid. So here, hit by pitch plus 2. So now we check Nettles' hit batter rating. His batter rating is a 12. And we're adding 2 from Dennis Leonard, which would make him a 14. That's a 4. He hit him. So Dennis Leonard hit Greg Nettles on a hit batter. That's a hit by pitch. So now the plus or minus for hit batters is now baked into the matrix. It's no longer outside the matrix. So Nettles is on at first, and here's Piniella. And Pinella's 0 for 1. We roll the strat to see if a possible steal, and that's a 10, not happening. So Nettles will go ahead and stay at first. Leonard will pitch. Leonard, a 2-6. A 2-6 is a walk chance. That 17 is high. Remember, the walks, strikeouts, and home runs are now over here. Power results are now in the center. That was a walk chance. The 17 was too high. Piniella will now bat swing. 2-2, and that's going to be a grounder to short. It's too bad there were 2 outs because that would have been a double play check. But a 2-2 is a G6. It's a ground out to short. There were 2 outs, and that will end the inning. I do want to do a double play chance, but I'd rather have that come up in the game. Still tied at 2 after 4. Do a double play check. Anyone? You want a double play check? Okay. You know what? Tell you what. Let's do a double play check. The inning is over, but let's do a double play check. So Nettles is on first, and I want to make sure I get this right too. Nettles is on first. Piniella was at the plate. So let's say we had a possible double play. Now, Chris, you better check me on this because even I got a little confused on this myself. All right. Let's say there was 1 out. Say it was 1 out. This is where it can get a little bit. This could be a little bit tedious, but it's okay once you get used to it. Lou Piniella's, and I'll roll a D20 in a minute. Lou Piniella has a double play rating of 13 plus. Greg Nettles has a speed of 2, has a base running rating of 2, and Leonard adds 3 to the double play. Okay, so if I'm right, to see if it's a double play, if I'm correct, the higher this rating, the less of a double play, or the lower this rating, the best of a double play. Because according to the book, anything equal to or greater than the combined number, and of course where the ball was hit to. I haven't gotten there yet. So double play rating 13. Leonard is a +3. Now, you have to see where it was hit to. On the chart, you have a double play modification. If it's hit to either one of these positions, you add or subtract, okay, to the double play rating. So Piniella 13 plus 3 is 16. If it was hit to second base or shortstop, you add 1. So that's a 17. That's a 17. Hit to first base, -2. If it's at the plate, you subtract 6 from the double play rating. Hit to the pitcher, -2. If it's hit to third, no change. So let's say this was hit to short. So 13 plus 3 is 16. All right. Hit to shortstop +1 is 17. In order for it to be a double play, it just goes to the D20 dice. It just goes to the D20 dice, not the rating. So the D20 dice, not the rating. Okay. So I come up with a 13 plus 3 is 16, and hit the short a +1. So it have to be. So let's see. That's an 11. So the number I get on this is a 17. That's an 11, which is between 17 but higher than the 2. So that should be a fielder's choice. Am I right about that? So Nettles would be out at second, but Piniella would be safe at first, because it has to be equal to or greater than the number in order for it to be a double play. So if that's an 11, is that a fielder's choice? Nettles would have been out at second base. Let's see what Chris says here. Take the 11, add Leonard, double play, and then the position adjust. Okay, so 11 plus 3, so the 11 plus 3 is 14. Plus 3 is 14. And then you add +1 to the shortstop, which is 15. So that's a 15. But Piniella has a double play rating of 13 plus on his card. Has a rating of 13 plus. But that would be a 15. So if it's higher than that, that's a double play. That is above the 13. Okay, so you don't do anything with this. This stays the same. But it's a okay. Okay, so all right. So you're not doing like you did with the other game, where you just take the batter number, the batter rating, and then the adjustments adjust the roll, not this. Okay. So okay, that's what I needed to know. Now, what if it was less than, let's say it was less than 13. Let's say this was let's make this a 6. Let's make that a 6. So if that's a 6, you add 6 plus 3 is 9, and hit the shortstop +1 is 10. So that'll be a 10. So if it's a 10, it's not higher than the double play rating, but the 10 is higher than the 2 for Nettles. This would be a fielder's choice. Nettles would be out. One to 2 would be an out at first, since Nettles has a 2 base running. 3 to 12 would be a fielder's choice. 13 and higher would be. Thank you very much. So that's how you did it. I was adding it to the rating. I was adding it to the batter rating. That's what my mistake was. Because I was wondering how come every roll I had was a double play, no matter what it was. Thank you very much. So in this case, so it was a 15, which is higher than Lou Piniella's rating. So this would have been a double play. Now I get it. Thank you. I am so happy you are here. We'll see if that comes up in another play. Let's go to the top of the fifth. Let's get this game moving on. So top of the fifth, and we're going to have Freddie Patek lead off for the Royals, and he's 0 for 1. So Guidry will pitch 5-3. And a 5-3 on Guidry is a walk. That's a 6 against the lefty. Patek will walk. So that's going to be a walk for Patek, and that is the second walk given up by Guidry. And now here's White. Freddie Patek on it first. Let's roll a strat. And that is a 1. So let's see. So White, his bunt rating is a 4. So let's do a bunt. Let's do a bunt. So his bunt, so if I'm correct, that's a 1, and that's lower than his bunt rating. So that should be a possible bunt, right, Chris? That's how you're doing it. You're no longer doing it like you did where a 4, 16-19 is a bunt. If it's less than or equal to the bunt rating, this is a bunt. This would be a bunt try. Is that correct? So a bunt rating, this would become, so that I rolled a 1 on the strat. So this would be a bunt try. Is that correct? No, you need to look at the SH rating. Okay. So 18-20. Okay, so you still have it up here. All right, so it's not a bunt. All right. Patek, though, has a steal rating, though. His stolen base rating is a 8. So Patek gets the steal rating, though, because that was a 1. So Patek's steal rating comes into an attempt, right? So now this goes to this would be an 8. So this would be now, of course, Guidry, however, is a -1. So actually it would be a 7. So Patek, the bunt rate is the actual rating to use when bunting, right? All right. But this would be a steal a chance. So it would be an 8 -1 is 7. So Patek has a chance to steal. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's try a steal for Patek. So Patek, he had 38 steals. So let's try a steal. A steal works the same way as it always has. Stealing is the same as stolen base rate plus the pitcher's stolen base and the catcher arm. There's no change in the stealing for inside pitch advanced. But, however, though, this is something you didn't know. In stealing on the outcome, if you roll a 20, he is caught stealing like normal, but it's a possible you re-roll the 20. If another 20 comes up again, the fielder drops the ball. You don't have that in a regular inside pitch. But an inside pitch advance, the fielder can drop the ball if you roll 2 20s at the same time. I did see that. So Patek is a 15. Guidry is a -2. And Munson has a -1 arm. So let's roll. So 15 -3. So a 1-12, Patek would be safe. And he is. That's a 1, and that's also a possible error. So Patek steals second base. Now a 1 or a 2, runner safe, check catcher for throwing error. So now we roll Munson, and Munson's error rating is a 12. So we roll the D20 again to see if he makes an error. So a 1-12, Patek's going to be on third. And he is. Patek, a bad throw by Munson, and Patek winds up at third base. And that was a good call by Patek to try to steal. And that's going to be an E2, a stolen base. And that I believe is the first error on the Yankees. Just like regular inside pitch. Stealing is just like regular inside pitch. He did not make any changes to that. So Patek is now on at third. Let's bring the infield in. Why not? It's an exhibition game. Let's bring the infield in. So White now bats with a runner on at third. Let's see what happens, shall we? Re-roll the strat. And this time, nothing happening. So Guidry will go ahead and pitch to White. Guidry is an 8-6. And an 8-6 is a K with home run in parentheses, of course, if he was tired. He's not tired. Strikeout. And against a lefty, White is a 13. That is a 2. He got him. Struck him out. So he gets White on a K. That is the 5th strikeout for Guidry, and that's 1 out. So now the top of the order, here's Otis. Otis is 0 for 2. We're going to keep the infield in. So Guidry, strategy roll again. And that's a 20, but that's a 20. Now, Otis has a hit and run of 20, but only with runners on first. Runner on third, you're not doing it. So that's just so you avoid that. So now we go to Otis. So now we go to Guidry to pitch. Guidry is a 2-1. 2-1 for Guidry is a K, a strikeout. And against the lefty, Otis needs a 5. That is a 15. That is not a strikeout. Otis will swing. The infield is in. Otis, 6-3. Oh, we now have the risp. So, a 6-3 is an R with a double star 2. This takes place if there is runners in scoring position. This is the runner. This is the new risp, non-risp rule, okay, for inside pitch. Runners in scoring position. Otis, if there was a runner in scoring position, well, we have a runner in scoring position, and that is an automatic out, but that could change to a hit, is what that could do. If there was not a runner in scoring position, the R or the N, the R would be ignored, and you'll just take the automatic out. But in this case, you have a runner in scoring position. Chris, make sure I do this right, okay? So this is an automatic out, but because there's a runner in scoring position, you got to check the pitcher to see if that becomes a hit. So now we go to Ron Guidry's card. Ron Guidry as an R and a 13. I'll show it to you here. An 8 and a 13. The 8 is his non-runners in scoring position, non-risp. The 13 if there is a runner in scoring position. You check the D20. A 1 to 13, the original roll, the original roll stays. Right, lower is better for the pitcher. Would be 2-star only, would be double only if no risk, but D20 is checked against the pitcher's R rate. Lower is better for the pitcher. So so in this case, so it's a 13. So if I roll, so we check the D20. A 1 to 13, this would be a hit, or it would stay the same, and a 14 or higher, or the 14 or higher, it's a hit. So he has a 13 here. The D20 is a 9. The D20 is a 9. 1 to 13 stays in out. 14, 20 would be the hit. Okay. So that means that if this was a 14 or higher, Amos Otis would have got a base hit instead, and we go to the number 2. It would have been a base hit to left field. But we check the D20, and that is a 9. A 9, a 1 to 13, with the runners in scoring position, it stays the same, and that instead is going to be an out. So you now get the original roll, which is an R and a double star 2, and so we check Guidry, and Guidry's 2 is a fly to left field. So that's going to be a fly ball to left field, but it's a possible sacrifice fly. So it's a fly out to left, which is out number 2. Amos Otis has a sacrifice fly rating of 20, which means I don't even have to roll the D20. He automatically brings in the runner. Is that correct, Chris? Because now you're using sacrifice flies, okay? Just like that, you're no longer, it doesn't matter where the sacrifice fly is hit to. Because remember, an inside pitch, you added like +1 to left field and right field. Correct? It would have been an S7 because we hadn't stopped it. Okay. So I'm asking here is that's a sacrifice fly roll of 20. Well, that's an automatic sacrifice fly if you're using D20. So if that's true, and it doesn't matter where the ball is hit to if it's off the batter card. Okay. So that's a 20. I don't even have to roll the D20. Patek comes in to score. The Royals took the lead. So it's 3-2 Royals on a sacrifice fly by Amos Otis. Even though Ron Guidry kept it the way it was, they still get the run in. So that's a sacrifice fly, RBI for Otis. And the Royals now have a 3-2 lead. And I'll check the flyouts, by the way. And we'll go to the chart. So here's the chart. So it says flyout advance, roll 1d20 versus hitter sacrifice fly rate. Less than or equal to sacrifice fly, otherwise roll here. We would have had to roll here if that didn't work. But he had a 20, so it didn't matter. And it's automatically a sacrifice fly, and there are now 2 outs. But they get the run in. Here's McRae. The adjustment for field would have happened if you failed the sacrifice fly roll and then rolled on the outfield advance chart. Okay. Because on the original inside pitch, you had the sacrifice fly rating of the batter plus where the field was hit to now. You don't do that in this game. That only occurs now if the sacrifice fly roll on the batter no longer succeeds. I get it. Guidry will pitch to McRae. Guidry is a 3-2. That's an error on a booted ball. 3-2 is an EB. That's an error on a booted ball. We'll go to McRae. McRae is a 5-3. And a 5-3 is a G6. It's a possible booted ball. So it's a grounder to short. We got to check to see if there's an error on Bucky Dent. Bucky Dent's error rating is a 4. That's a 6. He won't make an error. He will get it. He will throw to first, and that will retire the side. So 1 run, no hits, 1 walk, and 1 error. And the Royals now have a 3-2 lead. Bottom of the 5th, 3-2 Royals. And Roy White will lead it off. He reached on an error his first time up. You hate Bucky, Red Sox fan in 1978. Oh, Chris Davis said he hates Bucky. He was a Red Sox fan in 78. Oh, boy. So I guess 1978, Bucky Dent hits a home run. I think I can say this. Chris Davis 10 barfs. Yeah. I guess Chris Davis 10 barfs that day. So here's Leonard, bottom of the 5th, 3-2 Royals. You see how the game actually flows pretty well? And we still haven't even gotten to even some of the other stuff that hasn't happened yet. We'll see what it happens. Leonard, 5-1. That's a strikeout. That's a strikeout chance. Against a righty, White strikes out at an 8, and that's an 11. No K, he'll hit. I'm a Mets fan too, Modine. You know me. White, that is an 8-4. And an 8-4 is an L5, but with the triangle sign. If the infield was in, this would be a base hit. But because it's not the infield in, that's just a line out to third. The infield is back. So that's 1 out. And now the batter is Bucky. Bucky is 0 for 1. Leonard will go ahead and pitch. Leonard, an 8-6. An 8-6 is now here. 8-6, this is the automatic out or single. Or single if tired. This is what he went ahead to do on his new sets for inside pitch. Only if the third baseman was a hit. Right. That's what I meant to say. Correct me, Chris. That's right. You were right. So here, it's an automatic out if he's not tired, and a single to the position if he is tired. Leonard is not tired. That's an automatic out. That's a 16. And we just go here to right here because you have 2, 4, 6, 8, 11, 14. 16 is in this range. And that's just going to be a ground out to short. Don't have to roll again for the automatic out. You just take the D20 as it is. As Chris says, it's not a one roll and done game, but actually it can be. Here's Rivers. Rivers is 0 for 2. 2 outs now. Leonard will go ahead and he will pitch. Leonard is a 2-4. A 2-4. Dennis Leonard is a blank. So it goes right to the batter card. Rivers, a 7-3. And a 7-3 is an F7. That's just a fly out the left. And that's a 1-2-3 inning for the Yankees. Since Dennis Leonard gave up the bomb to Reggie Jackson, he hasn't allowed a hit since. 3-2 Royals after 5 in this demo game. We go to the 6th. Guidry back on the mound. Leading off, of course, is Mr. Brett. Brett is 1 for 3, 1 for 2. He hit a double his last time up. Lots more we haven't gotten to yet. We still haven't seen the hitter. We still haven't seen the advancement to outfield hits yet or all that. Who knows? We may not see it this game. We may see it in my next demo game, which is going to be demo game number 2. Chris, you don't have to be there for that. I'm not asking you to be there for all the demo games. I'm going to do a demo game number 2. It'll be the San Diego Padres against the Chicago Cubs. If you're going to release this game, hopefully after next week, I'm going to do probably another demo game on Sunday afternoon. So anyone wants to join me on that, before, of course, I play my regular inside pitch game for Sunday, because to start the month of July for $19.99. So here's Guidry, and that is a 7-4. A 7-4 on Guidry's card is a walk, and against the lefty, Brett is a 7. That's a 1, and he walked him. So that's a walk, and that is the 3rd walk given up by Gator. And now here's Cowens. Cowens is 1 for 2, got a double, an RBI. Don't really have to check for double play depth. It's already figured into the game, I believe. So strategy roll, and that is a 12. And nothing happening here for Cowens, and no steal. So Guidry's going to go ahead and pitch. Guidry is a 3-3. Now, here we go. 3-3 and new. This is a new result. RP12. This is a possible range play. It is not an automatic range play. So it's a range play 12. You check the D20. If the D20 is a 1 to 12, it is a range play. Anything else, a 13 or higher, it is not a range play, and you go right to the batter card. That is a 3. So that is going to be a range play. So it is a 3, so it is going to be a range play. So Guidry needs his defense. Cowens, 6-2. 6-2 is a G6. Okay, so now we have a ground ball to short, but we got to check the range play. Bucky Dent is the shortstop. His range is a 5. So a 1 to 5, he will make the play. It is a 7, he doesn't. Now we go to Ron Guidry's card for range play 2B, and that is a 1. That is a 1. So he does not make the play. So now we roll a D20 to see what kind of it is, what kind of a hit it is. A D20, this would be if I'm correct, Chris, if I roll a D20, if it's a 1, it's a double. Everything else is a single. If I'm right about that, that would be a single pass short. If I'm correct, because he failed the range play, so now we roll here to see what what kind of hit would be. So if that's true, no, you don't check the RP2B on a G6. Okay, so it's just it's a single pass short. Okay, so we'll just go to single pass short, advancement past infielder. A runner from first to third would have to be 7 in order to get to third. Brett is a 6, and there's nobody out, so Brett only gets the second, and that's it. So it's a single for Cowens. Only failed range plays to outfield and the infield corners. Okay, so only failed range plays to outfield and the infield corners. Thank you, sir. So that's just a base hit. Single pass short, as Chris Davis corrects me on that. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And that's good to know. So now runners at first and second, no one out. Here's Porter. And Porter got a bomb his first time up. He's 1 for 2. So runners at first and second for the Royals here. And let's see what happens here. Now, that is one thing I didn't mention. Craig Scarborough was hoping for a range roll of 8. Let me ask a question, Chris. Range play rolls of 8 are successful for the home team. Is it only on the ballpark card, or is it no matter who, or is it no matter what card it is? Is it only on the ballpark card, or if I rolled an 8 for a range play, it's automatically made? No matter what. Because it says, now that's a nuance for the home team, gives the home team a little bit of an advantage. Range play rolls of 8 are successful for the home team. Is this only if it's a range play off the ballpark card? Any range play done by the home defense. So if I rolled an 8, that would have been good. All right. So that's one actual kind of thing for a little bit of home field advantage is if you roll an 8 for a range play, it's automatically good no matter who's there. So so that means which means everybody, Greg, Wheels Luzinski could make a range play on a 1 or an 8. How about that? Wheels Luzinski. Gotta channel your inner, you gotta go ahead and channel your inner Greg Luzinski. Yes, but Bucky sucks. That's mean. Bucky sucks. Chris Davis, I think you'd be great friends with Al Red Sox fan. Because, of course, he's a Red Sox fan, and he hates Bucky bleeping Dent. So does Salvador America. I know he's not in the chat right now, but I always tell Salvador America Bucky Dent's his favorite player. You should hear what he calls me after that. Okay, so Porter is the batter. Still nobody out here on the top of the 6th inning. Nice touch for a bit of home field advantage, but not so much. Yeah, I agree. That is a nice touch for the home field. So runners at first and second, no one out. Let's do a strat and nothing on the 4. I don't see Brett going anywhere, and he won't. Porter does not get a sacrifice fly attempt or anything, so we're going to go ahead and hit. So Guidry will pitch. Guidry is a 4-5. 4-5. A wild pitch. Now we check to see if there's a wild pitch. We check to see if there's a wild pitch here. So we check to see if he has a wild pitch. So now we go to here. So a wild pitch, a 1-7, and 8-13, a possible pass ball. That is a 6. And that's going to be a wild pitch on Ron Guidry. Looks great for robbing home runs, as the players should know their parks better. I agree. That's a wild pitch for Guidry, and the runners will advance. So runners advance, and now Porter. Now the question is, do you intentionally walk Porter to pitch to Hurdle? Porter had 18 bombs. Hurdle had 7. I think you walk him and play for 2. There's nobody out. Does anybody here want to make a call to do a Porter? Sparky Lyle up in the pen, walk him. Modine says walk him, we'll do it. And Sparky Lyle, Chris Davis says is in the pen. Very well. So now bases are loaded for Hurdle. And we're going to play the infield I'm going to keep the infield back for double play. Well, we're in the 6th inning. Should we go ahead and play against the win? Modine, what do you do? Play in or back? Play in or back? What do you think here? Chris Davis says corners. All right, we'll play corners in. Batters at first and third are in. Fielders at first and third are in. Second or back are corners in. Very well. So bases loaded. Nobody out. Top of the 6th inning. 3-2 Royals. This is a pretty big at bat here. I will roll a strat just to make sure nothing happening. Guidry will go ahead and pitch to Hurdle. Guidry, a 1-7. A 1-7 is a strikeout against the lefty. Hurdle is a 16. That's a 6, and he got him. He struck out Hurdle. And that is strikeout number 6 for Guidry, and that's out number 1. Now Lecoq, and Lecoq is 0 for 2. We're going to keep the corners in. Although Pete Lecoq does his double play rating is average. I don't know. Do we keep the infield? I don't know what we want to do. I think we keep the corners in. So strategy roll, make sure nothing happening, and that's a 20. Nothing is happening. Although Pete Lecoq gets the hit and run, but you're not doing that with bases loaded. So Guidry's going to go ahead and pitch. Guidry, a 1-8, and a 1-8 again is a strikeout. And against the lefty, Lecoq strikes out as a 14. That is a 6. He got him. He got Lecoq. Strikeout number 7 for Guidry. Now 2 down. And here's Patek. Patek 0 for 1 with a walk. So now 2 men out. The fans here at Yankee Stadium hoping Gator can get it done. Bases are loaded. 2 outs now, top of the 6th. Strategy roll again. Nothing on the 6th. Guidry will go ahead, and he will pitch. Guidry, 1-1. And 1-1 against a righty. Strikeout plus 10. Against a lefty, Patek becomes a 6. But a strikeout plus 10 is a 16. That's a 7. Swing and a miss. Strikeout. Guidry got out of it. No runs, 1 hit, a couple of walks. The Royals had bases loaded, and they get nothing. They lose. Good day, sir. And you wonder why I think inside pitch is the most fun game you can play on the tabletop. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Leonard's going to still pitch. And really Randolph will lead off. He's 0 for 2. 3-2 Royals. Bottom of the 6th inning here at Yankee Stadium. No strategy. Leonard will pitch. Leonard is a 7-3. A 7-3 on Leonard is a K. Strikeout against a righty. Randolph needs a 6. That's a 10. It is too high. Randolph, 2-4, and 2-4 is going to be a grounder to short, and that's out number 1. Next up is Munson, who should be in the Hall of Fame, and may he rest in peace. Munson is 1 for 2 with a single. Leonard, 6-6. A 6-6 from Leonard is a walk chance against a righty. Munson walks at a 5. That's an 11. It's too high. Munson, 4-3, and it's a split chance. Against a lefty, it would be a base hit past third, but against a righty, it's a grounder to third. Leonard's a righty. That's going to be a ground out to third, and that is out number 2. And now, Reggie Jackson. Reggie, 1 for 2. He had a 2-run bomb in this game. The only reason why the Yankees got the 2 runs. But Dennis Leonard has done a hell of a job since the first inning. Leonard, he will pitch, and that's a 4-4. A 4-4 on Leonard's card is a K. Strikeout against a righty. Jackson strikes out at a 14. That is a 19. He doesn't strike out. He will get to hit. Jackson, 4-5, and against a 4-5 is a runner in scoring position and an automatic out. There are no runners in scoring position. This is ignored. So you just take the regular out. So that's going to be a double star 3. And that we go here. Leonard's card is a 3, and that's a ground out to first, and the inning is over. Since there were no runners in scoring position, that didn't mean anything. If I'm correct about that, Chris. So was there R? It was an R. It was a 4-5 was an R double star 3, but since there were no runners in scoring position, that R is ignored and you just take the out. Very well. After 6, it's still 3-2 in favor of the Royals. We go to the 7. Let's see if we can get this game in a little faster, because someone still has to work tomorrow. So top of the 7th, 3-2. Guidry's still pitching. He still got plenty left in the tank. He can pitch to, let's see. He's got plenty left in the tank. So does Leonard. Neither one of these pitchers are going to get tired anytime soon yet. So Frank White is going to bat. You got it there, Ernest Cruz. Good to see Scott Howard, the GOAT Whisperer, joins us. So 3-2 Royals here. Okay. And let's see what happens with Guidry against White. And Guidry, 2-7. A 2-7 is a split. Against the lefty, it's an automatic out. Against the righty, it's a walk. White is a righty, so that's a walk chance. White against lefties walks at a 7. That's a 16. That's too high. White will swing. White, a 5-6. And a 5-6 is a G6, and that's just a ground out to short, and that's the first out. Next up is Otis. Otis is 0 for 3. Guidry, he will pitch. Guidry, 3-5. 3-5 is an automatic out or a hit if tired. He is not tired. That's going to be an automatic out. That's an 18, and that's going to be a ground out to third if you follow it. So here again is a double star and an S. This is if he's tired. He's not, so it's an automatic out. That is an 18 on the die, and you'll just follow along here until you get the range. And it's 18 to 20 would be an 8, and you just take this number. That's a ground out to third, and that's out number 2. And now McRae. And McRae is 0 for 3. I would need the 86 Mets for IPA. I won't go to work until I roll the entire season. I think people are liking this game, Chris. I think they can't wait to see it. I think we're doing a pretty good job here. All right, so there are 2 outs now, and Guidry will pitch to McRae. Guidry, a 4-5. And a 4-5 is a wild pitch, but there's nobody on base, so it's a blank. McRae is a 7-1, and a 7-1 is a double star 2, which, of course, is an automatic out. And we just go to the number 2 on his card. That's a fly to left, and the inning is over. So 1, 2, 3 go the Royals. And we are at the 7th inning stretch, and I need a quick drink. So sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." I'll be right back. Of course, there is no 10-minute ticker tonight because we're not playing a 1999 game. I'm not going to do any baseball tomorrow. I'm going to take my travel day tomorrow night. There will be no baseball tomorrow night on Saturday. Sunday, I'm going to go ahead and do another demo game. I'm going to do the 1984 San Diego Padres against the 84 Chicago Cubs at Wrigley Field. I will do that game Sunday, maybe afternoon. And then Sunday night, you're actually going to get a doubleheader. And Sunday night, we return back to the 1999 season of Inside Pitch. It'll be the Anaheim Angels taking on the Oakland Athletics. Chuck Finley will be going for the Angels, and Gil Heredia will be going for the Athletics. That is July 3rd. That's going to be our first game for the month of July in the 1999 Inside Pitch season. So no game tomorrow night. I will do another demo game of Inside Pitch Advanced Sunday afternoon sometime, maybe around 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and then I'll play a 1999 Inside Pitch game. So for those of you who thought I do not do double headers, we're going to do one then. That'll be Sunday. I will probably move a little faster. I will move faster in that game because now that I'm getting the rules down and you guys have already seen some of this in action, I think I can start almost moving at the speed I normally do. But of course, you can still ask questions, and I'll be more than happy to go ahead and answer them. Remember, any questions of mechanics, I will do my best to answer. Any questions about ratings, if you guys have an issue with some of the ratings, that's all Chris. I will not answer questions on ratings. He is the guy putting this game together, and really, we should give him some serious kudos, all right, to see what happens. We need to see a base runner advancement play. Well, let's see what happens now. Chris Chambliss leads off. And against Dennis Leonard, bottom of the 7th. We've not had a advancement outfield hits yet. So, you know, we haven't had an advancement outfield hits. You don't get many of those, but we'll see. Leonard, 5-4. I can already tell that's a blank. We go right to Chambliss. Chambliss, 7-3, and that's a grounder right back to Leonard. Comebacker to him, and he'll take it and toss it over for out number 1. Here's Nettles. Nettles is 0 for 1, but got hit by a pitch. I guess the reason why we haven't had much outfielder advancements is both these pitchers have done a great job. Leonard has only given up 5 hits. I'm sorry, Leonard has only given up 2 hits, and one of them was the home run to Jackson. Guidry's only given up 5 hits. Dennis Leonard has pitched no hit ball since the first inning. Leonard will pitch. Leonard, 7-5. That's a blank. We can take it here. 7-5 is a blank. We'll go to Nettles' card. Nettles, 2-8, and that's a G4. That's going to be a ground out to second. Handled there by White, and 2 down. And now the batter is Piniella. Piniella is 0 for 2. Leonard will deal. Leonard, 7-4. 7-4 is a K, and that's a strikeout against a righty. Piniella that's a 6. 17 is too high. Piniella, an 8-3, and that is going to be an automatic out. That's an automatic out, double star 5, and that goes to G5, and that's going to be a ground out to third, and retires a side. Dennis Leonard has pitched no hit ball since the first. If it wasn't for the hit and the home run, Dennis Leonard would be pitching a no-hitter right now. We'll go to the 8th. Guidry will get on the mound. George Brett leads off for KC. He is 1 for 2, doubled and walked. Guidry will pitch. Guidry, 5-8, and a 5-8 is an EG. There's a possible error on a grounder. Brett, we'll go to Brett's card. Brett is a 7-8. And a 7-8 is an arrow with an L3. Well, that's a line out. That's not going to be an error on a grounder. That's just going to be a line out. If the first baseman was in, that would be a base hit. But he's back, and that's just going to be an out. That's going to be a line out to first, and that will be out number 1. That's if, like Chris Davis said, that's if that specific fielder is in. If it's not, he is back. It doesn't mean the whole infield has to be in. Here's Cowens. Cowens is 2 for 3, a single and a double. Guidry, he will pitch, and that's an 8-2. An 8-2 on Guidry, strikeout, and against the lefty, Cowens needs a 9. That's a 12. It's too high. Cowens, 4-6, And a 4-6 on Collins' card is an F8. That's a fly out to center. And that's out number 2. Here's Porter. Porter hit a solo bomb in this game. He is 1 for 2, a bomb and a walk. Guidry, he will go ahead and pitch. Guidry, 7-6. And a 7-6 is a wild pitch, but it's a blank because there's nobody on base. Porter, a 4-6. And a 4-6 on Porter is a G4. And that's going to be a grounder to second base. And that is a 1-2-3 inning. So 1-2-3, go the Royals, and we go to the bottom of the 8th. All action cam from lefties hitting at Yankee Stadium. Who would have guessed? Here's Roy White. He'll lead off. White is 0 for 2, but reached on an error. Leonard can pitch. He's got plenty left in the tank. Leonard has been excellent tonight. Leonard will deal. And that's a 1-3. A 1-3 on Leonard. Now, Leonard has an RP 12, range play 12. So if this is a 12 or lower, this is a range play. That's a 9. Now it's a range play. So now we check White's card. White is a 2-4. And a 2-4 says infield single to first. Here you see a little I. That I means it's an infield single. But it's a range play, though. So that's a single. It's an infield single to first. Now we have to see if the first baseman makes the play. Pete Lecoq, his range is a 5. So a 1-5, Lecoq will turn this single into an out. And he doesn't. It's a base hit. So the tying run is on. So White gets a single. And now the batter is Bucky bleeping Dent. Dent is 0 for 2. So Roy White on it first. Tying run on first. Leonard will get the pitch. Strategy roll, though. And that's a 10. And nothing happening. And nothing happening with Dent. And nothing happening with Roy White because attempt is a 3. So now, let's see what happens. So Roy White on it first. Leonard will pitch. Leonard, 1-2. 1-2. Strikeout against the righty. Dent needs a 6. That's a 10. It's too high. Dent will get the swing. Let's see if he hits this into the outfield. 7-6. And he does hit into the outfield, but it's an F9. It's a fly to right field. But what if this was a hit? Because we need to check this out. So let's see what it's a fly out to right. So right now it is an out. But what if that was a base hit to right field? Let's say it was a base hit to right field because we have to show this chart in action. So what if it was a base hit to right field? So let's say it's a single to right. All you have to do to see if the runners get to next base is roll the dice. The only thing you have to, the only calculation you have to add is you have to add run to the base running rating if it's 2 outs. So let's say it's a single to right. Let's roll these dice. It is a 4-2. No math. It's a 4-2. I'm using the blue side, the blue die as the top and the white die as the side. All you got to do is read across. So a 4-2. So a 4 here, a 4 base running rating, 3 or 4 uses the base running rating, and the 2 says here. So right now, for a runner at first and third, a 4-2, okay, says hold. And that's it. So a 4-2 here says hold, which means White would hold at second. You move on to the next batter. That's it. Let's roll another one. And he has a key here. And he has a key for you to understand how this chart works. So a 4-2 is a hold. Let's roll it again. And you only use the D20 if you go to the play chart. So let's go ahead. And seal. Let's roll again. 1-7. So let's say we got a 1-7 on here. A 1-7 says advance 7 to 8. So if the base runner is a 7 or 8 rating, he would advance. So Roy White has a rating of 4. He doesn't have a 7 or 8. He holds it second. Play over. Let's do it again. 1-6. Again, 1-6. Advance, if it's a 6 to 8 is his base running rating. It's a 4. He goes to second and he stays. Let's try. Let's roll. Let's, for the heck of it, let's make our own roll. Let's choose. Let's say it's 5. Let's do 6 and 4. So let's say it's a 6-4. So a 6-4, you come to here. A 6-4 is the arm rating. So a 6-4, if the arm rating of the fielder that it was hit to is a 4 to 7, okay, he holds. Otherwise, he advances. So we said that was a hit to right field, right? Well, the right fielder for the Royals is Cowens. And Cowens has an arm rating of 6. It's a 6. So a 6-4 would be hold if the arm rating is between 4 to 7. Since Cowens has an arm rating of 6, White goes to second, and that's all he does. If his arm rating was a 3, 2, or 1, White's on at third. How about if it's a 7? Let's say a 7. Let's say it's a 7-3. 7-3. You go to the field check. 7-3. Okay? And it says advance CR. If the ball was hit to center field or right field, he automatically advances. Otherwise, he holds. So that ball was hit to right field. White would go to third. No matter what the arm rating is or the base running rating is, it depends on whether it was hit to the field. So White goes to third. If it was hit to left field, he stops at second. What if it's a 1? Now, what if it's a 1? Let's do a 1-1. A 1-1 on the chart is advance plus the trailing runner. Okay? So a 1-1 says advance. So the lead runner automatically advances to third. Then you check the trailing runner. Okay? And if then you check the trailing, if the red D8 is less than or equal to the trailing runner base running rating, then they advance. Well, in this case, the red D8 was a 1, or in this case, the blue. Okay? And that would allow the base runner to advance the extra base. Bucky Dent is a base running rating of 3. So he would advance to second base. If that was like a 4, 5, or 6, or 7, Dent would have to hold it first. Now, of course, what if it's an 8? So let's say it's an 8-3. Now we come to the play chart. And of course, remember, this also works for second to home and doubles as well here. Okay? So, and of course, the fly out advance works the same way as these do. So let's say it's an 8-3. 8-3 means play, which means there's going to be a play at that base. Now we go to the play chart, which is over here. You roll the D20 with the D8s because the D20 may be necessary to see what happens. So let's say we roll and it's let's make it an 11. So a D20, so it's a 8-3 with an 11. So 8-3 means play. So now we go to here. And now you check the play chart, and now you check the assist rating of the outfielder to see if a play is made. Okay? So that's an 11. And it was hit to right field, right? So the right fielder is Cowens. Cowens has a letter of A. He was very good at throwing out, at making plays in the outfield, which means he had a high assist rating. So then you check the play chart, and we go right to A. That was an 11. A 3 to 20, he's out. So White would be out at third. White would be out at third, and that's it. White would be out at third. Let's say he was a C rate. Let's say he was an E rating. So if it's an E rating, 3 to 8, he would be out, but a 9 to 20, he would be safe. The trailing runner, however, if the base running rating is greater, the trailing runner would advance if the White D8 equals the base running rating here. So let's say the White die was a 3. Bucky Dent would be a 3. He would advance to second, but White would be thrown out at third. And then, of course, if a 1 or a 2 comes up here, then you check the specials. The rundowns, throw cutoff, possible error attempt, anything like that here. All right. Anything like that here. So I don't know about you, but this is an excellent way to do base running. I don't think you really could. I mean, now they say, oh, you got to use another chart. Well, so what? Every game uses charts. So what? But this chart is simple. So, okay. So it's a base hit to right field. Roll. 5-4. So get here 5-4. Hold 4 to 7. The right fielder arm, Cowens has an arm rating of 6. White holds at second. Play done. I don't have to go, okay, because pretty much this game makes this obsolete. I do not need this I really don't need this for inside pitch advance. I could use it I could put the outfield arm on there if I want, but I don't need this because I usually use this for calculations. No math. Some plays change if 2 out based on coaches getting more daring with 2 out hit. Exactly. If there are 2 outs, it'll be different. Like, for instance, how about here? Let's check this here. We're getting 2.5 hours into the stream, but that's okay. So let's take a look here. How about down here, 8? So let's say we have a 1 and an 8. Let's say a 1-8. So a 1-8. So let's say, let's say second to home. So a 1-8, P20A. So you check here, play with 2 out. Okay, so if there was 2 outs, there would be a play. If not, it would be an advance. The key to this chart is right here. You need to find out what it means. You'll look right here, and it tells you exactly what to do. Also here, failed range plays to the outfield, where the play started to hit or out. All base runners advance the hit value, 1 base on singles, 2 bases on double. With 2 outs, all base runners advance the hit value plus 1. Fly out advance, the same thing. If there's a fly out. I think this chart was so intuitive, I really can't see any other way to play this game. I think I explained pretty much all we need to know on that. We'll see if it happens in a game situation. Meanwhile, Bucky Dent is out because he flew out to right. So 1 out. Now the batter is Mick the Quick. He is 0 for 3. White on it first. Strategy roll again. Nothing on the 11. Roy White has a attempt rating as a steal attempt of 3, and I'm not sending him. So 1 out. Leonard will pitch. Leonard, 5-5. 5-5 on Leonard is a K. Strikeout. Against a righty, Rivers is a 7. That's a 20. It's too high. Rivers will swing. Rivers, 1-8. And a 1-8 is a double star out. It's an automatic out to number 7. And that's an automatic out to short. So now we got to check a double. Now we get our double play chance officially. So it's a double play chance. It's a grounder to short. So it's a ground ball to short. So it's a plus. So we roll this. So it's a 15 plus 3. So it's a 15 plus. We could take the original die roll. So it's a 15 plus 3 is 18. And hit the short plus 1 is a 19. So that is a 19. Mickey Rivers is out on a double play, 16 and higher. If I'm right, that is a double play. Am I correct, Chris? Am I right on that? That's a double play because I rolled a 15, plus 3 is an 18, plus 1 to short is a 19, and double Rivers is a 16 plus. If I'm correct, that's a double play. Am I right? Double play. Side retired. Rivers hits into a 6-4-3 double play. No runs and a hit. Still 3-2 Royals. And yes, Chris, I'll tell you, I'll get every season you make of Inside Pitch Advanced, just like I have for Inside Pitch Regular. We go to the ninth. Ron Guidry, he is tired. Ron Guidry is tired. He is tired. Do I want him to pitch here? Do we want to bring? I think we're going to bring in Lyle. Well, I'll let you guys decide. Ron Guidry is now tired. Do we bring in a relief pitcher? Batters coming up for the Royals is Hurdle, Lecoq, and Patek, and they are 2 lefties and a righty. I think you bring in Lyle. Yes, relief. So Guidry coming out of the game, and coming on to take over will be Sparky Lyle. Where's the pitch clock? No pitch clock here. Although, believe it or not, Chris, I do use the Ghost Runner rules. I do use Ghost Runner rules in my seasons. Kind of an adjusted version. So here's Sparky Lyle. He was 9 wins, 3 losses, 9 saves at a 3.47 ERA. Sparky Lyle had only 33 strikeouts in 1978. Look at all those blanks. Exactly. So Clint Hurdle will bat. Or do we bring in a pinch hitter? Hurdle's a left fielder. Nah, Hurdle will stay out there. He'll bat. So Sparky will pitch to Lyle. Lyle, 7-7. And a 7-7 on his card is a K. Strikeout against the lefty. Hurdle is a 16. That's a 10. Swing and a miss. Struck him out. Lyle had 33 Ks, and he gets Hurdle. Struck him out. Here's Lecoq. Lecoq is 0 for 3. Lyle, a 6-3. 6-3 is a blank. 6-3 here is a blank. We go to Lecoq's card. Lecoq, 7-3, and that is a double star 2, and that's going to be a fly out to center field. And that is out number 2. So 2 away, and now the batter is Patek. Patek is 0 for 2 with a walk. So Lyle will go ahead and pitch. Lyle, 6-8. A 6-8 is a strikeout, but a home run if he's tired. He's not tired. He can pitch to 9 batters. So strikeout against the lefty. Patek is a 6. The 14 is high. Patek will swing. 3-2 for Patek. And if it was a hit and run, and that is a 17. Okay, if this was a hit and run, all right, that would be a possible hit. But Patek's excess rating is a 10. So but it's not a hit and run, so it's an automatic, just a ground out to second base, and that will retire the side. So 1, 2, 3 go the Royals, and we go to the bottom of the 9th. But will we see some 9th inning Yankee magic? Dennis Leonard can pitch to 4 batters before he tires. He will pitch. Willie Randolph leads off for the Yanks. He has grounded out to short all 3 times. Fans here at Yankee Stadium would like to see the Yankees get a hit here. Leonard will go ahead and pitch. Leonard, 6-7, and let's see. 6-7. Against the lefty, home run. But against the righty, it's a blank. Randolph's a righty, no homer. Randolph, 2-3, and it's a base hit past short. Randolph gets on base. Randolph gets a single past short. The tying run is on. And now here's Munson. Munson is 1 for 3. He's got a single. Randolph on it first. Infield set for a two-bagger. Dennis Leonard trying to go ahead and get the game over. Royals lead 3-2. Leonard does pretty well against home runs. A -2 with runners on against home runs. A -2 against home runs. So Leonard will put up strategy roll, and that's a 10. Randolph is not going anywhere. Leonard will pitch. Leonard, 1-4. And we have an ET. It's an error on a throw. Little choke from Munson. 8-2. And 8-2 is a double star 6. And no, that's going to be a fly out to center field. The star line 6 is an F8. There won't be a throwing error. That's going to be out number 2. Out number 1. So 1 out. Munson flies out to center. And of course, remember now, error on a throw. Let me check. I don't think there's a throwing error, even if you have a runner on base. So let's see here. So error on a throw on a center field at 10. Let's see here. Only applicable runner advancement charts being used. Nope. So there won't be a throwing error. And Randolph stays where he is. No chance. So he stays put. So now, here comes Reggie Jackson. Reggie has a home run in the game. He's 1 for 3. Randolph on it first. Leonard will pitch to Reggie. Fans here at Yankee Stadium hoping for a big-time hit. Strategy. Nothing on the 17. Nothing happening. Reggie will go up against Leonard. Leonard looking to get this game over. Dennis will pitch. 5-5. And strikeout. 5-5 is a K chance against a righty. Jackson a 14. That's an 18. He does not strike out. Reggie will swing. Reggie 1-5. And it's a split chance. And against a righty, it's a fly ball to center field. If Leonard was a lefty, that would have been a double. Fly ball to center field, 2 down. And I see that Chris Davis wanted me to bring in the lefty Hrabosky. But because thou did not do that, that was a fly out. That would have been a double, and the game could have been tied. So the last chance for the New York Yankees is Chris Chambliss. Chambliss is 0 for 3. Dennis Leonard trying to go the distance. He will be tired after Chambliss. 2 men down. Bottom of the 9th. Royals leads 3-2 in this demo game of inside pitch advance. Randolph on it first. Strategy. Nothing on the 3. He will stay. He does get the steal sign, but he's not going anywhere. Chambliss hits at a 274 click, and you don't want to take a chance to go. Be the final out at second. Randolph stays put. Leonard will set up against Chambliss. Fans are waving their cell phones here in 1978. Checking social media. Oh, that's right, 1978. Didn't have those yet. Leonard will get the pitch. Leonard, 4-4. Strikeout 10. No, it's too high. 4-4 is a K. And against the righty, Chambliss is a 7. That's a 10. Chambliss gets to swing. Chambliss, 6-8. And it's a double star 5. It's going to be a ground ball to third. That's picked up by George Brett. He's got it. Pumps once, pumps twice. throws to first to get Chambliss. That's your game. The Kansas City Royals will win this demo game tonight 3-2. Stadium barfs. Yeah. No runs and a hit for the Yankees, and the Royals will win this game, this demo game here for 1978 Royals and Yankees in this demo game for Inside Pitch Advanced. First baseman's foot was off the bag, replay challenge. This stream has lasted 2 hours and 50 minutes. Does anybody here have any questions for Chris Davis before he leaves? Does anybody have any questions for Chris Davis before he leaves? I will do another demo game on Sunday afternoon between the 1984 San Diego Padres and Chicago Cubs at Wrigley Field. But does anybody here have any questions for Chris Davis? So let me ask him a couple of questions, Chris. I'll ask you a couple of questions. So you say right now the seasons you have ready to release are 1978, 1984, and 2024. How will you decide which seasons to do after that? How will you decide which seasons to do? Are you randomly going to go select seasons? Are you going to ask people what seasons they like to do? Do you want me to give you a selection of seasons that I know people would love to play? And I know you intend to do all the seasons. So I know you're going to try to do every season you have from 1956 up to today and maybe even further. So how are you going to decide which seasons to do? How are you going to decide what seasons next to do? Because I can tell you right now, Chris, this game is excellent, but you're going to have to put out seasons in order for people to buy it. So my question is, Chris, how are you going to do this for season choices? You're going to start with 3. You're going to have to get as many out as you possibly can so people will be interested in getting it. 78, 84, and 2024 are good years. You'll probably do a poll by decades first and do one for the years inside that first. Okay. All right. Because people are going to want to play seasons. Me personally, I don't care what season I play. All right. When I do my Inside Pitch season selection show, I don't care if I'm playing the season from 1940 to 2024. I don't care. My subs go ahead and make decisions, and then the dice decide which season to play. 1999 came up this time. I don't care which season to play. It doesn't matter to me. I'll get it. But you're going to want to get as many seasons as possible as soon as you can so people will really want to get this. I will say this. 78, 84, and 2024 are good choices. 78 because it's a good season with the Yankees. 84 because it's a good 80s season with the Tigers, the Mets, the Padres, the Cubs. 84 was a good season to choose from. In 2024, you do want a modern season for people that want to play modern day baseball, which I still like. So have I done those with my replays? No. 1978, 1984, and 2024 have not been done. Okay. I have done 61, 69, 72, 76, 79, 81, 83, 85, 88, doing 99 now, and then 2016. Those are the seasons I've done so far. But the thing about it is you say you can create a season pretty quickly. So even though 78, 84, and 2024 are available, when my season selection show comes up, I'm going to do season cards from 1940 to 2024. Whichever season is chosen, I'm going to ask you to do that season. If you've not already made it available by that time. Your personal wheelhouse is 70s to mid 90s. I know you like your personal warehouse, but we got a lot of players that we got a lot of people that like seasons from the 60s, some from the 50s, some from the 2000s, some from the 2010s. We got a lot of people that do play modern day. So you definitely got to get those done. But I understand. I remember, Chris, I know you're a one-man show. You're also doing inside blitz, inside pitch regular, inside the crease, inside the paint. We know you're doing all of that, Chris. I think it's too much for a guy to handle. You need to hire some people to help you make seasons. I think you need to hire somebody. You need to hire someone to make seasons for you. But as far as this goes, I can safely say that I think I can tell everybody that the next inside pitch season I do will be an inside pitch advanced season. If Chris says he can create a season pretty quickly for me, then no matter what season is chosen from the next selection show, which is usually in October, which will probably be in October before the 99 World Series, he will have that season ready for me to go by January 5th of 2026. Oh, so you send it to Craig the multi-season test. Well, in that case, Craig Scarborough, okay, Craig, if he sends you a season to test, you better do it pretty quickly. So it's now up to you too, sir. So I can safely say I could think that possibly this 1999 inside pitch season will probably be the last inside pitch season I do, unless of course you can't get so that means my next inside pitch game season will be inside pitch advanced, but I won't start that season until January 5th of 20. I won't start a season. I won't start a season until January 5th, 2026, because that's the next start date of my next inside pitch replay, which is January 5th, 2026. So you're going to have 2.5 months to make a season, which I know you'll have plenty of time, and then get it to me. All right. Does anybody have any more questions? There were certain things we didn't get to. There are things we didn't get to. We didn't roll an 8 for a range play. There were we didn't have a possible robbed home run. There were a lot of things we didn't get to. And here's the defense cards that he's going to put out for these, okay? A lot of things we didn't get to. When is my season pick date? That won't be until October. My inside pitch season selection show, I always do before I do the next World Series of the year. So Sunday, I start July of 99. I won't be at the World Series of 99 until October. And that's when I do a selection show. And that's when my subs vote on 4 seasons to see which season gets the most dice. I don't think you got a pitcher split deck. The question. No, I did. Somewhere here. I did. Yeah, we didn't get the split check either. I have your pitcher cards right here. These are going to be used on Sunday for the game against the Padres and the Cubs. But that's National League, and I will have pitchers batting in that one. But yeah, we didn't check the EDOs either. The error on a drop ball. We didn't have the pitcher result never came up. So that never came up. So yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, Chris, you'll have 2 months, probably 2.5 months to create a season for me, what year it is. Email me your BK inside pitch question for the National League game. I need to know step by step how you do it, because it was kind of confusing me. Because for instance, let's see, on this card, let me see here. So here, Jack Morris on your thing here. So explain this one to me, because Jack Morris has it. So Jack Morris has this PK in. So what is the PK in? I understand this, but the PK in. Pitchers, KBI pitch range when pitching. Only some pitchers have this. Otherwise, it's blank. So what do I roll here if that comes up? Or what am I looking for? On this PKN, which is on Jack Morris's card of 84. Because I don't think I understood that one. I don't know what I'm looking for. If there's a rating or something, I don't see a rating anywhere for that. So I don't know what I'm checking here. It says PK and then /N. So I don't know. I don't know where I'm looking. Because it says there's a rating to check. I just don't see a rating anywhere. I just see PK/N. So I don't know what I'm looking for. If you're rolling that range with a D20, if it was not a K, walk, or home run, use that same roll. And if in range, it is a K before going to a ball in play. Okay. So what range? Where's the okay? So within this range, but where's the range I'm using? Or there's no. Where is the range? I don't see a range here. I just see PKN. I got the. Let me see if there's a range on that card. He sent me the 84 set. He sent me the 84 cards. Hold on. Yeah, Jack Morris doesn't have it. Hold on. He said it could be on 2024. Hold on a second. Let me look at a 2024 set. Hold on. See if I find it there. Let's see one there on the 2024. I don't think there are any. Let's see. Okay. I found one. Hold on. I found one. On the Dodgers. I found one. Here. No, I got a better one here. Ryan Yarbrough, 2024 Dodgers, PKN 19-20. So if I roll in that range with a D20, if it was not a K, walk, or home run, you use that same rule. And if it's range, it is a K before going to a ball and play. So this is like a special K is what this is. It's like a special K before you go on the batter card. I found one here on 2024, the Dodgers. Here you go. 19-20. So if I roll on the D20, if you're rolling that range of the D20, if it's not a strikeout, walk, or home run, you use that same rule. And if in range, it's a strikeout before going to a ball and play. So if I rolled a strikeout for Ryan Yard, if I rolled like a K, and I don't roll, and it's not, so we're going to go ballpark and batter's card, you roll the 19-20 with a D20, it's a K, full stop. Okay. So no matter what the roll is here, so if I roll a D20, so if I go ahead and I roll, let's say, I don't know, whatever, let's say it's a 6-8. A 6-8 on his card would be an automatic out against a lefty. Oh no, against a lefty, and righty would be a blank. But if this was a 19 or 20, okay, that's a strikeout. So if it's not a home run, so if it's not a walk, strikeout, or home run, anything else other than that, if I roll a 19 or 20, this becomes a strikeout and the batter is out. It's like a special K without, so it is like a special K without having to go to the batter card. Am I correct on that? You only use it if you were going to roll in the batter or ballpark card. So it is like a special K. So if it's a blank and I roll on the batter card and the D20 comes up in 19 or 20, it's a strikeout. So Ryan Yarborough, so let's say it's a blank, and then I roll off the batter card. So let's say, I don't know, whatever. Just, I don't know, whatever. Max Muncy, and let's say it's a P4. I'd say a 5-3 on Muncy, but the D20 is a 19, and that overrides it. So this would be, so let's say it's a P4, but the D20 is a 19 or 20, and it's a strikeout, and that's it. No matter what's on this card. Yes, but the special K roll on the batter's card first. Here it happens for your roll for the batter. Thank you very much. I got it. It's a special K. It's a special K without. It's a special K. Okay. Without rolling on the batter card. All right. I get it. Thank you, sir. You answered my question. That's good. I'll get it. I think I got it. I'll get it. I will. We'll see what happens when we get there. You'll find these on National Pitchers called BKN. Yeah, I saw those. I did see those. So Sparky Lyle has that too on his card and such. Any more questions for Chris? Modine. All right, guys. This was a 3-hour stream. For those of you who stayed through the whole stream, mazel tov. And that's going to do it for me, guys. The next one, there'll be no baseball tomorrow night. I need a break. I'll return Sunday afternoon with demo game number 2 between the San Diego Padres and Chicago Cubs of 1984. That'll be at Wrigley Field. And then Sunday night, we go back to Inside Pitch 1999 for a game between the Anaheim Angels and the Oakland Athletics to get the month of July started. Thank you all for joining me tonight. Please leave a like on your way out through the turnstiles. This stream deserved it. Subscribe if you're not done so. Make sure you hit the bell. If anybody has any questions for Chris, please ask them in the forums. They'll be more than happy to answer them. If you find any more questions, please go ahead and ask them in the forums of Inside Pitch, and he'll be more than happy to answer every single question you may have. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay smart, stay strong. I'll see you guys Sunday. The Kansas City Royals take a win against the New York Yankees here at Yankee Stadium in this demo game. They beat the Yankees 3-2. Inside Pitch Advanced is coming. Be there or be square.